customer base or operations without necessarily improving efficiency or profitability. It is very important that we come to the understanding that when it comes to, most times some businesses Facebook is one of their so understand. So let's even first start from there. Point. There are other metrics, but let's get it right. Because most times people think that it is until they make millions in their account as liquidity, as after removing their. So because when ask for finance, a business pitch, they'll be like or certain opportunities for growth. Efficient, not even something that more staff, open new location. Like I said at least every day. I want to make this every day. I want to make an inquiry. Because if your cost is rising, because now you understand what our goal is. To handle businesses don't make profits. Everybody likes your work. So that's the growth. So how is it that you don't get overwhelmed? How is it that you don't work throughout December and you are fixed to first exercise and activity I want to give up and say what is the most important thing about that? So we are. So I have very interesting thing. Like I said, growth focuses on what? Expansion and increase in resources, while scaling focuses on efficiency and profitability. Right? An example of growth in a Nigerian small business is a Lagos-based bakery increases sales by supplying more bread to local shop. So they're thinking of supply. That's distribution. Do you understand? A fashion designer hires more tailors to meet rising demand, or creates an internship system, or creates an apprenticeship system, or creates an affiliate system or a partnership to meet demand. So it doesn't necessarily mean that the time when that entrepreneur is or that fashion designer is doing that, they are making money. So sometimes when you see people open a new shop, open a new store, it's not like their money has come. They are trying to call in money. Do you understand? So don't think that sometimes, as business owners, we know the next thing that can take our business to the next level, but we think that we need profits to do it. We say things like, I don't want people to think they have arrived, but you know that this location where you have spotted another place where you are supposed to be. Do you understand? You already see that, okay, I'm inside this village, but if I can just move to the town, just 20 minutes drive away from here, and situate the same business in this place, I will make profit. But we are not doing that here because we don't want people to think that we are now making money. So we see that this fashion designer now hiring more tailors to meet rising demand. I hope you know that this hiring of the tailor can be a partnership, it can be a commission based hiring. But you're really thinking about it that, okay, I want to hire you, I know that in December, I know that in August, I know in whatever this time I have increasing demand. Can we have a contract that for every clothes that you make, there are different ways of hiring people, there are different contracts and there are different levels of engagement. Do you understand? So understanding this helps you understand growth. Also, another thing is a small farm expands its lands to grow more crops. Just very simple. And there are different ways, there are different financial instruments, different ways to think about it. It's you. I say it every time. You are the one that doesn't want to grow. Growing is a choice. You need more people. There are other ways to get people other than cash. There are agreements you can strike. There are partnerships you can enter into. There are pipelines you can build. If I know I cannot hire someone, I can create a pipeline and ask 50 people to come and learn from me for free. At least I know that by the time depreciation of people will go reduce, I have like 5 that can stay and intern with me for a while, and it can be commission based. So it's about thinking as a small business. So like I said, characteristics of growth, there's linear expansion. More input equals more output. The more you put into it at that point, you are growing. Just like if you have fertilizer to something, the more you see it. Also, it may lead to higher costs, right? More employees, you spending your food money, emptying your savings, when you're supposed to be keeping it. But the truth is that you know that this thing is going to actually bring about growth and expansion to your business. It's going to also mean having more inventory. Sometimes we know that there's a period in or season in time when certain products are cheaper. You don't need it now, but you already know that the time when you are going to need it, the prices will go up. So it makes sense to buy it at that time, even though you don't have the money. Don't worry, just looking at your inventory like this, and just anytime you are hungry, just go and look at your inventory and say, wow, inventory, you are here, and you will return. But it is because at that time you are trying to grow. So when it is time to scale, don't forget that the definition of scale is that you are making profit with what? Controlled costs. So everybody is increasing prices because cost of things in the market is high. But you are just chilled because you already have your things. So you can say, everybody is doing it. Let's say, let me give an example. Everybody is doing it, let's say 10,000 naira. You are like, because you have been a very good customer. I'll do it for you 9,000. They'll be like, thank you so much. Everybody's just saying 10,000. I'm like, yeah. And the person that is selling 10,000 is selling it maybe because they bought it 9,500. But when you bought your own, you bought it 6,500. But don't forget that you have also suffered in fast. You are looking at the days you were hungry, you looked at your inventory. You are rich. I used to say it, some people are just rich in assets. That's what entrepreneurs are sometimes. You're like, the amount of goods I have, if I can just convert it to liquidity right now, I know I cannot buy this Mortina right now, but if you check my inventory, do you understand? So what inventory do you have? If you're in a service business, and you know that there's a peak period, what kind of inventory do you have? How are you storing things so that, how are you thinking about your business so that it can grow? On the days where, and I speak this a lot to people who offer services, on the days where you are not outside on the field offering your service, what are you doing inside? Because it's very easy for us to keep sleeping and to keep resting until someone calls us, because our work speaks for us. Very easy. So, but then how are you thinking about your inventory? And what do I mean by that? For service business, you know that what you have is a skill. It can be transferable. So are you thinking about transferring that skill? Are you thinking about automating that skill? Are you thinking about this thing feeding you even when you are not there? Most people, when they are in service businesses, maybe they are doing something, they don't think about retirement or or all of those kind of things. What happens in the event, or in the event that you are sick, in the event that you want to take a paternity leave, in the event, like, how are you creating systems such that this thing can grow beyond you? So that's how you have inventory as a business that is in service. So are you making videos? Are you making explainers? Are you making templates? Are you making all of those kind of things that other people can use? or in the event that when you have thousands of jobs, you can just use, or you already have that system automated, so it is easier. So when customers don't call us, it's not time for us to rest. Do we understand? If you're in the service business, it's time for us to update our inventory. It's time for us to even know what is happening. It's time for us to contribute to global conversations. Most times service people don't like to position themselves as experts, but that's the time when when you have a lot of resources and when people are thinking about positioning yourself as the number one person in this field. You do it when you're not on the field, because honestly, when you have active back-to-back work, sometimes you even forget to eat, right? You forget to take care of yourself. So why don't you just have that inventory so that it can speak for you? People say, oh, sometimes, very interesting how at some point, oh, I saw this thing that you released, and I'm like, oh, when was that? Because I can't even, because the truth is that I done like months ago, and at that point maybe I'm actually like in a very bad place. Just struggling. As well, telling me that, oh, I saw this combo. It's just because you've done them down. Understanding your inventory, understanding that you have something that can make you last. Parents used to do. I remember growing up, my mother would want to buy us shoes, and I would say, Mommy, this shoe is fine. She said that okay. She carry the shoe. Let me give an example with this marker. So let's say I did the shoe. There's going to be a lot of bending, a lot of testing, a lot of, because it's not aesthetics that she wants to buy, it's efficiency. Because there's going to be a time when it is going to rain. Maybe on the day we went to buy the shoe was in a store. It wasn't raining that day. So she's testing the efficiency for the day that it's going to rain and I'm going to wear that shoe. Do you understand? She's testing that shoe for the day that it's going to be very dusty, and she's testing that shoe for the day I'm going to pass through a road that is very bad. So you have to test, so you have to focus on growth at this point, because you want to be efficient. So that on the days of your adversity, your strength will not be small. So in this place, you optimize resource use and reduce cost. That's how you become efficient. How can you get the best thing at the best affordable price? Right? So what does the example of scaling in a Nigerian small business mean? For example, a tech startup develops a software that serves thousands of customers without needing an extra staff. Right? Or maybe some of your processes now, you can say, okay, every time someone asks me, can I make an inquiry? I have to start asking them, what's your like? What's your dislike? Okay, can you show me a sample of what, all of those kind of things. Can you think about automation? Is there a way you can make it easier for customers so that when they come, you can just direct them there? So it saves you time that you spend on acquiring a customer. So in business calculation, there's something that they call COCA many times. It's called customer cost acquisition. Right? That's the cost of acquiring a customer. I don't think that, except maybe the person is giving you billions of dollars, if there's every time, personally, I try to reduce the amount of time I acquire a customer. So meaning, from the moment someone texts you a message and says, hello, I want to make an inquiry, and to the time that it takes them to say, I want to pay, is your cost. So for example, if it takes you 6 hours to convert one person to pay for something of 10,000 naira, the question is, how much are you worth for 1 hour? How much is the 1 hour worth? Do you understand? All of the stress that you use, the internet, and in case you want to know, the internet that you use to chat with them, the power that you used in powering your phone to chat with them, the phone that you used to snap something, to snap the prices, the airtime that you used to call your customer, that's your supplier in the market, that what's the recent price, all of that in just inquiry phase is what it costs to acquire that customer. So sometimes when people write their cost price, oh, how much did you buy this thing? I bought this 6,000. How much are you selling it? 7,500. Then I ask the question, what is the cost of this transaction that you have made? Most times we don't know the cost of the transaction we have made. So because we bought something 5,500 and we are selling it for 7,500, we think we have made 2,000, but maybe not. Maybe you have actually lost 5,000 naira. Because the time it took you to do that transaction, that's the cost. Sometimes the cost of doing a business, many times the cost that we spend on doing a business most times is way higher than the amount that we spend on it, right? So it takes you about, let's say for example, sometimes it takes us 3 days to close a 5,000 naira transaction or a 20,000 or a 50,000 naira transaction, and you're thinking about it that you know so sometimes it's not understanding the cost of a thing allows you to focus on what scaling, to say this thing that an average time to close a customer is 2 days, can I reduce it? Can I automate some things? Any business that is telling me that I should send screenshot of my transaction, it used to irritate me. Why are you asking me to send screenshot of the transaction I just made? Like, why can't you remove that roadblock or that bottleneck? Why can't you send me a link that goes to an invoice, and the moment I pay, you can pay through USSD, you can pay through transfer, there are many ways of payment, and the moment that payment says approved, you get the alert. Why are you asking me to send screen? Why? Do you understand? Why are you stressing me? Why are you sending me your straight account number? Why? So I have to wait for you to send me account number. Then I have to now come to your DM, and sometimes it's not even easy to press the number. So I have to first copy, paste it in a chat, now edit, now copy, now cut, now go to bank app, now click on it, the network will be bad, then I will now forget that I've not done the transaction, then you now come back into my DM. So I just want to do a reminder. Has it gone through? Like, why? Not like I'm making, but like even Pocket App has shop, you can just send a link and the person can just pay straight, like paste up. Like, they're just things that can reduce that process and that time. Bumper, so many of these solutions. So it would help you to close customers and deals faster. You already know that your business, people ask for 3 major things. I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do that. Why don't you have a portfolio for that, instead of asking what do you like? When someone says, I want to make an inquiry, okay, so what do you want to make an inquiry on? Okay, no problem, check this. This is our portfolio, look through it. If you have any questions, let me know. That's when the thing is now worth your time. Do you understand? Then you can now, or you can ask, so if there is anything that you need that is not part of the services provided, then we can make a custom thing for you. And I hope you know that when someone asks for something that is custom, the price is also custom. Do you understand? You factor in that time in that custom made service. So scaling requires automation. Whether you're in manufacturing, because I used to do manufacturing at some point. It's for God's strongest soldiers. But like, you need to understand that scaling and automation is very important, especially businesses that, if you're in a business that has to do with, I say it, if you are dealing with Nigerian artisans, it's very hard to scale, but it's very important that you scale. Meaning that you need people who are not. So for example, let's give an example, that you're a fashion designer, or you're a baker, or you're something like that, and you're not getting plenty orders because people like your work. You can fall into serious problem, because by the time you start employing people and you start telling them to do certain things, if there's a mistake, people want to see your own standard in whatever work that you do, because you're the one that they gave work. But you know that there are a lot of things that, so you have to employ people. So how do you ensure that standard? How do you automate certain things? Right, it's very, very important. And how do you create standard practices? So today we'll also be talking about standard operating procedures. So even you yourself have a standard operating procedure. Sometimes, because it's just easy for us to do things, and a lot of creative businesses have that problem. That's why they don't scale. That's why many creatives don't scale. Because this picture, everybody says that you're a badass editor. Nobody edits better than you, and you're feeling all fly. You're saying it's just genius. It's just in my head. You might not scale your business, because you will now be choosing the work that you can accept and the work that you can't accept. Or if you ask another person to do it, they will not do it up to the standard that and honestly, you are not special in a way, because the skills, the things that were the basis for your own super intelligence, it was someone else's height of intelligence that they documented. The videos you watch on YouTube was someone taking time to document a process, documenting their creative flow. Do you understand? So why can't you just painstakingly also create and document your creative flow, so that anybody that comes into your office to work, any of your staff, you are saying during your onboarding, instead of watch me, you catch up. I need you to be in that zone. We say very vague word. I need you to be creative. What does it mean? Do you understand? If there's a level of creativity that you have in your head and a level of excellence and creativity that you put into your work, I know it's hard, but take time to painstakingly record or document that process and create a standard operating procedure around it. So maybe when I have a design, the first thing that I do is to maybe check Pinterest or check everywhere, watch, gather at least 20 inspos. Sometimes people don't even know that there are systems to it. I have a friend, anytime he wants to make anything, he's going to be scrolling. It might take him 2 days to just be, what will I do? He's just going to be checking around. But he's not doing anything. But when he gets it, when he feels like, okay, let me just make an attempt. In 1 hour, in 2 hours, he has something. And it was like, oh, badass, People say, he just did it in 2 hours. He didn't do it in 2 hours. It took him 3 days. It didn't take him 2 hours. And in that 3 days, maybe he saw an average of, let's say, 20 designs or 20 posts per day. So he saw 60. He saw 60 before he could come up with one. So why don't you just create an operating procedure? Before we do any work, we check about 30 or 50 related case studies of that work. That's how you create SOPs around your work. So you expect somebody that maybe just checked 1 or 2 online to produce the same result as you. No, you people have different depth and exposure. And exposure is what makes the difference. So you have exposed yourself to more things. Do you understand? So we need to create standard operating procedures to be able to scale. So I'm saying it because in case you're not a tech startup, you understand, or you don't have automated solutions, think of this is how you can create operating procedures or things every single time. When you have 100 orders, that's when you start stapling. That's when can you make some processes faster? Since you already know the sizes that people require, you have already gotten to 80% of your packaging. So once you just fill it and you just do it. Just easier ways to ensure that it is automated, right? An e-commerce store using digital marketing and drop shipping to sell nationwide without holding large inventory. Sometimes some people sell certain things and I'm like, why are you not selling in Kano? They say because I'm not living in Kano, and I just laugh, right? So there are ways you can expand your reach. Different ways you can expand your reach about creating this automation. So in the event that someone in Ebonyi asks for your work, it's very interesting. I will ask you, are you selling in Kano? You say that no. Are you selling in Uyo? I will say that no. But you start telling me that you are shipping to the US and the UK because that one is easier, right? But then it's because you're not thinking deep about distribution. So how are you automating your e-commerce business, your drop shipping business, the clothes you are selling online? How are you handling logistics, right? So these are the characteristics. It's non-linear, right? Revenue grows faster than cost. You are making more money. Revenue, cash flow, right? It leverages technology. It leverages outsourcing or franchising. If you want to scale your business and you're not thinking of technology, you're not thinking of outsourcing, you're not thinking of franchising, I don't think you will scale as much, right? There are some things that it's not because you can't do it, but it's just better to outsource because it reduces cost. Do you understand? It reduces cost. That's why agencies make money. It's not like a company cannot have their own tech team, but it is cheaper to outsource it because they know that it's not every day that they need technology. It's not every day that they need this social media manager. So it's easier for them to outsource and pay a fraction of what they would have paid if they have employed someone as a whole. So sometimes franchising, outsourcing is a cheaper cost. Do you understand? Outsourcing is a cheaper cost. Sometimes in a business, it's cheaper to employ a secondary school intern or an high school intern or someone who is in their gap year as you are typing or as you are designing or as you are sewing clothes, as you are doing something. The customer, I want to make an inquiry on this, and you're like, okay, wait, you now pause that one. But so understanding that is very important, right? Also, scaling also focuses on repeatable and sustainable processes. Like I said, there is no key man risk here. It focuses on sustainable and repeatable processes. So I don't want to say I'm the only one that can do it. You're not the only one. If not, you will not scale. The only reason you can enter Chicken Republic at any shop or any state in Nigeria is because you have an idea of what Chicken Republic tastes like. Even though sometimes you can feel variations in different stores, but there's still like a minimum standard of how the chicken will taste. Do you understand? So when you're thinking about scaling, you should think about that. Don't say I'm the only one. If I'm not there, this thing will not work. Then your business will not grow, because it can't be everywhere at the same time. Do we understand? So today we are going to be looking at all of those things. And there are 3 things that I want to say, because the next session is about to come up in just about 2 minutes. So there are 3 things I want to say that are very important for anybody to grow and scale. I call them factors. The first one is that your processes. Your processes are very important. Everything I've been speaking about, you see that I'm talking about a lot of processes. Processes are very important for you to scale or grow anything. So today we'll be doing a lot of auditing of processes. Auditing your processes, we'll be sharing a lot of things. Processes are very important. Another thing that we'll be looking at today is we'll be looking at processes. We'll be looking at people. How do you do hiring? How do you transfer certain skill sets to people? How do you have people? One problem that a lot of small businesses complain, there's nobody that is as passionate about this work as I am. They are not giving their best to it. It feels like if I'm not there, this thing cannot run. And then you ask, just probe a bit further about how their onboarding process is. You employed someone, you just expect them to know what it is. No. How are you talking about your vision? How are you talking about, do they know where you are going? Do they even know how you think? Or everything is sacred and is almighty? Sometimes, people, even when I go to like certain shops, even restaurants, there's the woman that cooks. Maybe she started with like a small cooler and was cooking and people like her food. Okay. So if you have 20 stores, you'll be doing crew over there, she. Do you understand? So people. So how do you do people? How do you take care of? How do you recruit people? How do you ensure that their standard processes? How do they embody and become? The person that started Wema Bank, when they started, it was a small. If you hear the story and the history of Wema Bank, and I think now they are 80 years or 100 years, 80 years. Yeah? If you see the story, the person that started it, you don't even know that it's going to be as big as that. But then understanding that people are very important. So who do you hire? How do you hire? How do you create pipeline? How do you ensure that someone doesn't leave your business one day and everything crashes? Because some people is not. I wish you were, but they are cursing you in their mind. Right? So how do we ensure that doesn't happen? How do we see do you understand? So those are some of the things that. So people, processes, and the last P for today is product. So those are the 3 important things to scale or grow anything. So today, most of the things you'll be hearing are about processes, about the people that you'll be working with, and about the product. Because even services are. And one of the reasons we created this co-creation hub was that we wanted to be able to create a space for people to co-create, like it says. Right? Teach just has one simple vision. Innovation, unlock the creative intelligence and capital in people. But then we want to be able to do it collaboratively. Our success is not the products that we have outside there. It's about who people become. That's why we have all of these workshops. So that everybody can become excellent in what they do. Everyone can become successful. So most times, I argue a lot that our workshops will most likely in-house. Because it makes sense that people who are handling certain things in the organization that has worked so far, if I've seen someone be with me and let us move from having 2 people to 25 in a particular period of time, in less than 6 months or within 6 months, you can fact check. Do you understand? So it's very important that we do that. So there was no other. When I was thinking of processes, I was going to teach it, but I'm like, if I teach owners like to take this part of this process part. So the next person that will be taking like the next session is going to be like the operations lead of our organization, who has seen us scale through a lot of processes, a lot of businesses we've done, a lot of projects we've done, a lot in a short time, and how we've been able to achieve operational excellence across every single one of them. And not only have we done this, we have also created systems that allows us to reproduce that, because it's not only this person that can do this, other people can also do that, and other people have done it, and we have seen this growth also in the lives of other people. So that's why everyone should listen, because she's not just talking what she learned online. It is what she has practiced and the systems that have worked. And it's something that we have seen firsthand and you can fact check. So the next person you'll be listening to is Doinsola Owolabi. And she leads our operations at Teach. And I saw her slides and I'm like, wow. Yeah. Yes, sorry. Yeah. Okay, just give me a moment, guys. Okay, let me just stop screen sharing for a moment. Okay, just a moment. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Hi guys, how are we doing today? See, match my aura. It has to be aura for aura. So yeah, it's such a great privilege to be here and to co-host this workshop with my boss, Erlo Adenka. He's such an amazing person. He doesn't believe I think so. He's and I'll just give us a backstory of how we have come along. I mean, moving from 2 to 23, 25 team strength in less than 6 months, actually 6 to 9 months. So I started working with Erilo Adenka July, and I was working with him directly. Teach was at the time was just an idea, so there was nothing like Teach was not yet to say maybe an initiative, if that's the right word, right? So I came in as his assistant, just assisting him, with his work and stuff. But then we hosted a conference, Festival of Change, at the time. So we led Festival of Change, the planning, just two of us, core team, two of us, and in 3 weeks, actually, so he started talking about Festival of Change, I think August, and we were to plan Festival of Change. Festival of Change was scheduled for September 7th, 2024. And we had just 3 weeks, and two of us did it. We pulled in about 100 people. I was the one doing social media, I was the one reaching out to attendees, I was the one who drafted speakers, all of these things. By October, November, he had thought of more initiatives, and we needed to conglomerate what we now know as Teach. So Tech Circle is just one subsidiary. Teach is like the umbrella arm. So we have Teach is the mother arm. We have Tech Circle, one subsidiary. We have Festival of Change, another subsidiary. We have Shop Mami, and then we have Incubate. So from officially from November till now, we moved from just a 2-man team to a 25-man team, and what operations looked like when we were just two is way different from what operations looks like now. It is a different, my headache is just, I don't want to say it more, but from 2 to 25 is a stretch. And we have not compromised on standard, we have not compromised on values, we have not compromised on excellence, right? I can say this anyway, if you want to get anything done, just get Area 9, get it done. But we knew, so I value our team, like both of us as a 2-man team, I value what we have as a team. But we needed to replicate that level of excellence across other teams and across other individuals, and that takes a whole lot more intentionality when you're talking about growing people. Are they still going to get the same quality? That's what we needed to solve from the operations perspective, and that's like the goal of this conversation: how to ensure operational excellence even as you grow and scale. Because so for business, operations, you have the business and then you have operations in the business. Like, I'm still going to explain what operations is, but I just want to do a groundwork. And Eri had talked about this. So from business growth perspective, the question you're asking is, are we getting bigger? And that's where his metrics comes in. revenue, and all of the other metrics he used. Revenue, do we have more locations, all of those things. Is the business growing? The question operations um, answers is, are we handling the growth well? Because if you were serving, if you as a one-man team, you have an ice cream shop and you used to sell maybe 10 cones per day. If there is an influx and you need to sell 100 per day, what would that look like? You have to, because if you are a visionary, you have to have foresight. You have to be able to anticipate. So what would it look like for what you do? I know what you do, but what do you do? You sell food. So how many do you do per day? So are you started? So how many? Like only you. I know you're a one-man team, right? Yeah. So how many do you do per day? 15 to. So she does. Her name is Elizabeth. She does 15 to 20 per day. If an order came in and they said they needed to get 200, if an order came in today and said they needed to get 200, what would that look like for your business? This is where operations comes in. So what structures do you need to set? How many people do you need to take in this capacity? I mean, you're praying for growth, you're praying to scale. These are the things you have to consider, right? And so I'll just start with, what is operations? So operations has to do with every activity within a business that makes its product. Every activity. So what it takes to make, say, an ice cream cup is not just making, it's not the direct making of the ice cream. I hope you understand. So there is one of interfacing with customers. So that's one activity of the whole operations. There is interfacing with customers. There is posting on social media. There is going to the market to source for items. There is the inventory of how many orders are coming. All of those things tie into making this. What does operations look like for Teach? We don't sell an actual product for now. What we have is services. But what does it look like for Teach? What's the operational flow for Teach? Every day. We're selling Third Circle. What did that look like operationally? Number one, it meant that, okay, we are hosting a workshop. That means somebody has to set, the registration, open up the registration tab. Somebody has to post on social media. Somebody has to reach out to our former database and inform them that we have a workshop. All of those things is geared at selling what? Third Circle. So you must have a holistic view of everything it would take to sell your product directly or indirectly. Are you on the same page? So I'll ask Tolani, what does operations look like in your business? What's your understanding of operations, and then what does it look like in your business on a regular day?
Okay, I see what you mean. So knowing the quantity, right? Knowing the quantity, how many parts, right? How many parts basically. And then going to the market as well. I think that's like the most stressful part for me. Going to the market, getting the materials, the flour, the eggs, right? You get to the market, the person used to buy from before is not around. So you take maybe extra transport fare, get somewhere else and all of that. Coming back, actually making the chin, right? So if you know anything about making pastries, you know that there's from the dough, then you roll it out, you cut, then you fry, and all of that. Then packaging as well, right? Packaging as well. And then actually selling. Sometimes I do delivery, sometimes I have to like arrange with the customers, to meet at a common place, right? I think that's
Okay, thank you so much for that. So yes, I'm going to tie in operations to the mission and vision of every business. So you have, okay, let me just use this. So we have the mission of a business. You have the mission of a business. You have the vision of a business, and then you have operations. The The mission of business is what they are sent to do. The vision of a business is where they are headed. Operations is what translates that idea into everyday activities. Operations takes what is an idea, what is abstract, and makes it practical. So for Teach, right, our mission is to unlock, or our mission is to raise lecture subsidiaries that we currently have. So unlocking creative intellectualism, how are we doing it? The strategy we have through our subsidiaries. Number one, TED Circle, how we are training social innovators like you. Number two, Incubate, where we offer solutions to startups. Then we have Festival of Change, where we gather educational professionals and we have conversations around innovation, right? Around, yes, innovation and education. And then we have Shop Mami, which is also another tech product that we have. So we have all of these four subsidiaries. That's our strategy to achieve our mission, right? Now, what operations does is that all of those subsidiaries that I've mentioned, how are they translating to everyday activities so that we can track whether we're actually fulfilling the mission of creating and unlocking creative intellectualism in Africa. Do you understand what I'm saying? So operations is basically the execution of mission and vision. You must be able to break it down. Now, okay, this now, for example, let's use a case study. Fastest Cakes. Do you know Fastest Cakes?
Yes.
You know Fastest Cakes? So, I think they are maybe top 10 in Nigeria, and they're actually Fastest Cakes. I'm not. If you send me a message now and say, like they'll tell you when your cake can be delivered, and they stick to it. You can, like, they have such a seamless customer experience. Absolute. I mean, the first time I made an order, I think they were maybe 30 minutes behind, and they apologized. But I made the second one. They stuck by time. Now, their mission. So I was doing a research on them. Their mission is to deliver cakes at the fastest and most affordable rates. Their vision, I think, is to become the maybe Africa's largest food network. Now, all of that is just in paper. If there are no laid down processes, structures, systems, people who will translate that idea into everyday activities. So for you to say that you are Fastest Cakes, what would that look like every day in your business? What would that operational flow look like? For example, in their case, it can be that at 6 a.m. every morning, the manager is already looking at, okay, what's the inventory like? For today, we anticipate maybe 100 or 150 orders. Do we have what it takes to deliver 150 today? What time do I need to do this? Maybe 6 a.m. If you're truly Fastest Cakes, your operations is very unique. No operational flow is the same. The operational flow for Teach is different from the operational flow for Tolani's business. It's different from, so you can't copy and paste. Right? Is it the same framework? Yes. But are they different? Yes. Right, so for Fastest Cakes, you be at 6 a.m., they are taking an inventory of their items. By 8 a.m., the bakers are ready. The person mixing is different from the person icing. Because they are trying to deliver fast. So if I say I want to mix, I want to bake, time is going. How about I have one person who is mixing, one person who is doing the icing, another person who is packing, another person who is tracking deliveries. Because if you are Fastest Cakes, it means that orders are coming in almost every minute. So there has to be a team for that is constantly on the lookout for orders, right? So operations translates your mission and vision into, you must be able to, if your operations does not capture this and this, you're doing something wrong. If you say your business is to serve the most reputable companies, maybe you want to do a B2B, the operations has to capture that. Meaning that, for example, if you are reaching out to clients, you are not doing small businesses. If you want to serve maybe premium clients, in your strategy, there is no reason why your target audience should have small businesses if you want to target large companies. Right? So you must be able to target. Now, I'm not saying that anything wrong with small businesses. It's just knowing what you want, knowing who you want to serve, knowing your mission, vision, right, objectives. So I hope we understand that. Do we have any questions? All right. So we have that. Let me see. Okay, so yeah, operations serves as the backbone that transforms. I already said that organization's mission vision from abstract ideas into measurable practical results. So next slide, pillars of operations. So if you're truly going to grow and scale as a business, there are four pillars that you must be very intentional about and that you must nurture, build, and be able to pump resources into. The first one is systems, structures, people, and processes. Okay, so what are systems? Systems are tools, technologies that help facilitate the work that you do. For example, what worked when it was just Eri and I as a two-man team, it's not going to work when it's not a 25-man team. The kind of systems that we use, when it was just Eri and I, it was just WhatsApp and Google Meet. Now we're having complex work tools or efficient work tools that will serve us. Now we use Notion, like we use other tools like that. Now now we have to use Excel, we have to use other technologies and tools that will just help. Instead of just saying, if I really need something, just call. Hi, doing, I need this done. For a 25-man team, that may not really work, especially where like the procedures outlined. Now clients are at stake. You are dealing with clients' portfolios and all those things. It won't just work. You need to have like an outline of these are the things that you need to do to get this done. So systems, the tools that you use, mail merge, right? Structures. Now this refers to how the organization is structured in terms of roles, responsibilities, reporting lines, and decision-making flow. So I'll still keep using Ariana because I think that's case study that are most relatable. But I find most relatable, right? I mean, 2 to 25 is. So now the structure, how it looks like when it was just Ariana and I, holding the business, is different from now. Because when it was just us, it was just you and I. If I need something, I reach out to him. If he needs something, he reaches out to me. Now we have about 4 core teams. So we have branding team, we have tech team, we have programs team, we have operations, and then we now have like the subsidiaries where all of these teams actually featuring. The role that we have now is different from what we had. You must be able to know the roles that you need in your business. What roles do you need in your business? If you know that you want to serve maybe 15,000 clients, you obviously know that you need a sales marketer. You need a brand strategist that will position you to, reach those that you need to reach at a period of time within a certain time frame. Right? So we have roles. We had to get a CTO, we had to get a web developer, we had to get a UI designer, we had to get a branding strategist, we had to get content strategists, we had to get content personnel, and all of those things. What are their responsibilities? We had that outlined too. What is the reporting line like? What's the leadership structure? Now in Teach, we don't run a hierarchical structure. We don't run a hierarchical structure of leadership. We run holacracy. So what that means is there is no boss. We have an open door policy. If there's a problem, you can go to now. We have team leads. We have that structure of team leads, but we don't have that structure of, okay, this is founder, this is person, and everybody is on the same pedestal. So meaning that somebody in branding can actually reach out to somebody in operations who may be the founder and just maybe point out certain issues within our processes, within our workflows, or even calling out. Now calling out is not a context, may not be a good word, but if you mess up, they can actually call you out. In our team, you can always, now you know that this is structures. We can still tie it down to the mission and vision. We're a co-creation hub. We are co-creating, we're collaborating with people. We don't want a situation in our team where people think that the founder or the next in line should not be talked to or should not know when he's out of line. That's why we now created that Holacracy. Because we understand, we're also nurturing the creative capital of our team members. So if you have an idea that you think will transform our operations, that you think will transform our subsidiaries, you can go and meet Eric and he welcomed the idea. I mean, one of us, she's not here, Adeswa, she thought Tech Circle is going to, so now we're having this workshop, but Tech Circle has morphed into an academy where we're going to have, you're going to enroll into a school. It's going to be a full, that initiative came from one of our team members. If she had said that, she can't talk to the boss, like I'm just in branding. At the time she was just in branding and she thought of the idea. And now we're already taking that initiative because of our value and because of our mission and vision. But what afforded us that opportunity was the structure we had set in terms of decision making flow, not making it a top level, top down kind of leadership. So what will work for your mission and vision? You must understand, is it a top down level kind of leadership that will work for you? Is it holacracy like the one we uphold here in Teach? You have to be able to understand all of those things. Now the people behind the team, what are the skill sets that those in these places will have, the structures? Do they have to be empathetic? If you're not compassionate, would you employ them? What's their motivation? For example, in our team, we know what motivates certain people and we are fine with it. There are some people on our team, what motivates them is money. For some people on their team, what motivates them is just the thrill of experience that, oh, I could do this, I've added this to my portfolio. We would work with you based on what motivates you. If you know what motivates one of your team members is money, you should know that if you are telling the person to maybe do something for you, you have to pay the person. Do you understand? So yeah, we have that. Then processes. So Eric was talking about standard operating procedures. You have to have documents for every single thing you are doing. If you are going to grow and scale, you must have a document that captures line by line processes, steps of everything that you are doing in your business. Even to the last thing of baking a cake. How do you bake your cake? How many cups is required to create this taste? Because if you're going to grow and scale, you don't want one of your team members that you employ to go and use 5 cups instead of 2 cups, and then you lose a customer over that. But if there are standardized operating procedures, there's a document that outlines everything, how you get it done. They can easily refer to it and say, oh, the boss uses this and this. That's how Minimi has been able to. Minimi is, they've maintained that taste over time. There's not been a decline. They have strong standard operating procedures. Very strong. Same with KFC. I don't know. KFC has been, they have their chicken, they have their rice. But that's how they've been able to maintain, the same taste. Because for this rice, if you use 3, you're out of line, you're out of taste. We're not going to get it. You must be able to get the same quality delivery at any given time. That's why premium brands come and stay. That's how they retain their names. If you're going to grow and scale, how many yards do we need to make 9 dresses? How do we cut it? You must be very intentional about all of those things. You must be meticulous. The word is meticulous. For example, if I open our drive, you'll see operating procedures for teams. So if a client reaches out to us, what's the next line of action? Who is going to answer that person? Okay, once the client confirms that they're ready to maybe order a product, order a service, what's the next thing that happens? We have that outlined so that there are no issues on, what am I supposed to do next? Is in the document. We've had multiple meetings to explain these processes. Right? So for now, if somebody else comes in as an operations person, they know what to do. Everything has been standardized, everything has been documented. They don't need to always be calling me from somewhere else to explain how do I do this, because everything has been documented. Do you understand? Yeah, so that's the importance of processes. Step-by-step methods of getting things done. Onboarding, what's the onboarding process going to look like for your team, for your clients too. So next thing, so do we have any questions before? Okay.
So my question basically is for small big brands like Minimi and all of that. So my question is for small businesses that want to actually look into
a business owner who needs
Yes, wants to
more
scale,
hands. Yeah.
especially in the area of people, yes.
Mm-hmm.
More hands, right? Where do they start? And maybe they feel like I have to pay these people. Like I said,
Do you always have to? Now, the question is,
you
do
don't
you?
always
You
have
don't
to
always
pay.
have to pay people. That's the thing. If you know that you cannot pay somebody, what can you offer them in exchange?
When
For
you
example,
define
let me-
it,
So let me give you an example. I wanted to get into a community last year, right? I didn't have the money to get it. So it was in hundreds of dollars. I didn't have the money to get into that community. And now I hope you can take out knowledge from this. I didn't have the money to pay the community. And I reached out to the person. I said, I don't have the money for this, but I could offer you products because I used to make accessories. And I told the person that I can offer you products worth these accessories. I didn't send them any money. And in fact, the person didn't even need my accessories at the end of the day, but I got into that community. So what would that look like for you? You can put out a call. Oh, I need volunteers in this over a period. If you are committed, if you are willing. To show you how many people want to learn on the job and they're not even really interested in one job. Have you made that first step? To just put it out. That if you're interested in this is what you two, you must uphold yourself to a standard and say that if you come and work with me, although you're not getting money, you're getting something else that will serve you. So that's one way to look at it. You don't always, and also Eric had talked about automation. Are there things that automation can actually help you with? If Asana can help you with your if Asana can help you with your daily operational, maybe you're not ripe for having an operations person, right? You should be able to use tools that will help. That's where systems comes in. Like the first thing I talked about, tools that can help you, right? And then as you have the capacity, maybe you then hire. Or you deflect to interns, volunteers. Actually, that should have been the right word. Interns who want to learn on the job, expand their experience, and when you think that you have capacity to pay what they deserve, you can now do that. I hope that answers the question. Okay, any other questions? Are we good? Okay. So what is the role of operations in scaling? So paint a scenario. Israel will say that on a normal day, on a given, she can deliver 20 cups of fruit salads. But imagine 200 others come in today, and they're telling her, Elizabeth, I trust you so much. I've mentioned your name too. Or 2,000 actually, 2,000 others. I've mentioned your name to Tony Melu. you'll be celebrating the anniversary. Your name is on the line, my name is on the line. You can't afford to form my hand. What's that going to look like? And immediately her blood pressure can just go up. She's like, God, there's no better time for rapture. There's no better time for rapture to come than now. Because how on earth am I going to get 2,000 done? But you know that there's a food business. I don't even know their name. There's a food business on Instagram. If you call them at 1 a.m., they won't order rice. They'll deliver it. They run a 24-hour delivery. My goodness. 24 in Lagos. Operations in that kind of business is different from operations in KFC that closes at 10. Another case study that blew my mind, this guys, Item 7 Go. I don't know if you guys know them. Item 7 Go. Like, so, if you need 200 packs of rice now, and you go to Item 7 Go, they have the structure, they have the capacity to accommodate 20 orders at a go. I've done it before. I did this year in March. I think we are ordering maybe 100 or 165 packs at a go. And everything was under 30 minutes. For another business, you say you want to reach 15,000 by you don't have the yes now, you don't have the capacity to handle that. But Item 7 knew their mission and mission to deliver food at any given time, regardless of the number of orders. Like I was so they are talking about it. I was so mind blown. I'd never used Item 7 Go, and they were like, "Oh, we need," and I went there, and I'm like, "Oh wow," you know what happened? I'm like, wonders are happening in this car. Like you don't, and quality was not compromised. Same taste, same packaging, everything on the spot. If I go to KFC now and I say I want $200. You see, operations is different, right? Because of their mission and their vision is different. So you have to create a system that will serve what you want to achieve in the long run. So yes, talking about, I hope this has been insightful for us. Okay, so what's the role of operations in growth and scaling? Number one, operations turns strategy into execution. I think I've highlighted on this a great deal. So whatever strategy that you want to achieve, operations will help you birth it. For example, we want to serve about I think 50 clients in our tech incubate offering. It's operations that will help us break it down. How many clients? Okay, we want to serve 50 tech clients. How are we going to get those 50? What would it look like when we get those clients? What would the team structure look like? Because a team structure that is serving just 5 projects, how are they going to serve 50? It's not going to be the same. Do we need to hire more people? Do we need to create a talent pipeline of people who will be able to design maybe 50 websites within a certain time frame? Right, so operations breaks down what you have idealized. Also, the next thing, operations helps you scale sustainably. Like we had, giving an example of the whole garments, ice cream, fruit cake. If you are delivering 2 per day, how would it look like when you're delivering 200 without compromising standard? See, if you are growing and you are compromising on standard, there's going to be a problem. The other business will crash. Alright, operations reduces chaos and increases clarity. So, if Elizabeth had done her groundwork of creating a structure that could accommodate 2,000 people, maybe she had already had a pipeline of other ice cream sellers or fruit salad sellers that she could reach out to. Maybe she has a database and says that at any given time she has established connections with these people that I know that maybe Melanin Corp, is it Melanin or Melanine Fruits? So there's a brand like that. They can do 100 if I call them in 2 hours. I have another brand that can do 200. If she has that pipeline of, other businesses within her space, she can reach out to them and say that, you guys, I need 2,000 and spread it across, and you get that with her brand name on it too. Of course, she should have done the background work of negotiating that, okay, this is what it's going to look like in terms of cost, and that she should have initiated that in her own overall costing. But will she get the 2,000? Yes. And they will not know that she didn't have to do the 2,000 because she has done the groundwork. If 200 others comes in to make maybe, if another comes in to make 200 gowns, you don't have, as a person, you don't have the capacity. How many tailors, designers do you need to have in your network who can work on those 200 within a week and deliver excellently? So it helps you reduce chaos, helps you increase clarity. I remember, when our own influx started and our own growth started, we were shaking, like I must say. I'm going to be very honest, because I know I've not borne the brunt, but from an aerial view, I've seen the stretch that has done to me as a person, it has done to us as a team, from the operations team and to us as an organization. You get an influx of orders, clients are coming in, clients are complaining, clients are this at the same time. How are you going to handle it? So we had to take a step back. Okay, what was going on? Alpha relaxed. It seems my BP is getting so. Yes, now, so I had to sit down and say, okay, what would actually work? For example, we have multiple. So within our incubate program, we have the branding and social media package where we manage social media for companies and for our startups, right? We've added more accounts. We have more portfolios. What did that look like for the branding team? What worked for them before did not work now. Right, so let me even use a relatable case study. So Angela is here. She's our digital and content lead. Right, she leads the entire content team. She was our only social media manager at the time. When we started getting orders, we didn't want her creativity to decline because of burnout and exhaustion. What did that look like? We had to hire more hands who would be able to replicate the same thing Angela was doing. So that Angela does not wake up one day and say, bye. Right? Because we didn't want to compromise. I mean, we could have said that Angela will continue handling companies' accounts, subsidiaries, clients' portfolios, just because we're trying to cost, preserve maybe resources. But then we have one of our values is excellence. That must be replicated across subsidiaries, across all operations and activities. We have to hire more hands who think like Angela, who can do the work Angela does, who can replicate what Angela does without any sense of compromise. Do you understand? So yes, cost efficiency and resource management. Operations helps you manage cost. What would it take for, if one person can manage 5 accounts, what are they managing 2? What do they need to be able to manage 5? Do they need more tools? You need a social media management tools that can help you operate those. And to help you man 5. We have scaled that branding offering by just adding an automation tool to that person's work. Do you understand? Operations, okay, we talked about this. Operations enables measurement and improvement. A core part of operations is that you must be able to track progress per time. You must be able to what are your key performance indicators? How are you measuring? For example, I take an analysis of how many performing in a month for my clients. Maybe 5 clients complain about something. What are they complaining about? Operations will help you do that. Gather data. Right, okay, 5 clients complain about slow response. How are we going to solve that as an operations team? Does it mean that everybody has to have notifications on for time? As simple as that, right? So yeah, operations improvement, operations protects customer experience. So I can just give you one example with this customer experience. So when we started Incubate, which is the offering that provides branding, tech programs, and office-based solutions to other organizations, it was only me interfacing with clients. So I always had to, if there was a complaint, they reach out to me. If they needed information on their page or something, it was me they reach out to. And sometimes that affected communication across teams. For example, if you can't reach out to me and says that the post you made on social media, I'm giving an example, I don't like it. If I reach out to maybe the content team and I say that, oh, the client complained, they didn't hear what the client said. They just heard what I said. To them, it can feel like, oh, maybe you're just picking out. So I had that challenge at some point. I'm like, okay, how do we solve this problem where everybody can understand the client's needs and interests? What do we do? Simple thing we did was to create a group for each of our clients, each of our portfolios. For example, for PSC Foundation, we have a WhatsApp group that has every stakeholder. So instead of only interfacing with Doing Solar, you're now interfacing with everybody who is a stakeholder on that project. So you're interfacing with Angela, who is the content lead. You're interfacing with Ezra, who is the social media manager of that account. You're interfacing with Amy, who is the lead developer. You're interfacing with Joshua, who is the CTO. All of us on that. So when the client comes and says that this stuff we did on website, it's not Doing Solar that would. I'll just start happy. That's so that I don't miscommunicate. So I wanted to solve the problem we wanted to solve the problem of miscommunication. And just opening that WhatsApp group solved. So for every of our accounts, every of our subsidiaries, every of our portfolios, we have WhatsApp groups, and every stakeholder is on that. So when they call, if they have a need, or maybe they're even making an appraisal, or everybody is saying, oh, thank you so much, Angela. You are collecting what's due you. Imagine they reach out to me and they say, oh, thank Angela that she did this, and then I forget. Angela has lost out on that feedback, that good feedback, just because of a lapse on my part. But we've created a system where the client is interfacing with everybody. So that's what it looks like on my part in terms of protecting customer experience. And it's even helped us, like, feedback loop was very fast. Any knows or Joshua knows that something is wrong with the website. I need to call the next person in line. Straight up, there's no time for someone now has to go and reach out to. Everybody is seeing real-time updates. Do you understand? Okay. Do you have any questions? Has this been insightful? Yeah. Am I rushing? Okay. Oh dear, 126. Okay, I should wrap this up. Sure. Okay, yeah, so we're doing a case study of, Teach and Money Point on how we grew on a daily basis for all of this. Alright, so okay, so the first milestone, team expansion, expanded team size from 2 to 23 within 6 months, indicating rapid organizational growth. And like I said earlier, what did that look like? We had a flat leadership structure. It was just area and I just reporting directly. It changed when we started to have teams. When we started to have multiple subsidiaries. We now have branding. We now have who's going to be the team lead of branding, who's going to be the team lead of tech. If a situation comes up now in tech team, who do they report to next? Is it me or is it Eric who's in operations? So we had that. So we had all of those changes on an operational level. We had to, moving from 2 to 23, having multiple teams, it meant that we had to solidify the structure. Okay, how many people do we actually need in this team? In fact, we had to even downsize at a point because we saw that the skill set of some people were not matching our level of excellence as a team, and that's one of our core values. So we have grown 2 to 23, but we have not compromised on excellence because that's one of our core values. All right, client-based growth. So currently we have clients in Nigeria, we have clients outside, we're serving them, and everything is going seamlessly, everything is going excellently. So what did that look like on an operational level? It meant that we had to develop clear service guidelines. When a client reaches out to us, what's the next thing we have to do? What are the professionals that we need? What are the stakeholders that we need? We needed to introduce templates. Okay, onboarding templates for branding. The onboarding process for branding is different from the onboarding for tech because they are two different teams, right? So, portfolio expansion, another milestone. When I started working with Eri, it was just 10 seconds. And I was not even directly on that project. The next thing was Festival of Change. Then we had Incubate, which now has 4 other offerings. Right, and now we have Shop Mami. So those are 4 subsidiaries, right, within an organization, and all of this has been achieved in 6 months. So portfolio expansion has been one of our milestones. We have successfully launched multiple programs, while maintaining high standards of quality and excellence. And there's something I must even explain in this portfolio expansion and how it ties to our team expansion and team development. And I'll just show you the operational side of that. So when Eri and I planned Festival of Change, it was Eri, I, and another person, another DC, actually, 3 of us. When we planned Festival of Change, we did it in 3 weeks. The goal was to just get 150 educators at Julius Berger Hall in Unilag within 3 weeks, and we did that. But this year, the goal for FOC 25 is to get 1,500 people, at least. What worked for FOC 24 is not going to work for this. So we looked at our team in January, current state of capacity of the team. We looked at everything, operations from an aerial view. And we said, okay, what do we need to do to achieve this?
We had to create a separate. We had to make sure we had to make a separate team
for this. So those that include subsidiary are not featuring in FOC's team because we don't want the team to burn out. Right, and that's how we were able to expand the team, develop the team. Because we didn't want to compromise on the standards we want from FOC. Our budget is over 10 million for FOC 25. Budget last year was under, I think, 2M. The work that we used to get to M is from the work we used to get over 10M this year. Alright, so we created that different team. Now, everybody understands the goals of FOC. We have a partnerships person, we have a social media person, we have a volunteer person, we have a volunteer lead, we have somebody who's in charge of competitions, because during FOC we have multiple competitions. For each of the competitions we want to anchor, somebody is leading the planning of those competitions. We have decentralized everything, because last year was just Aaron and I that pulled the weight, but this year we cannot pull that same weight if we need to actualize this. Do you understand? So yes, cultural preservation, even after expanding 223, it has been the same thing. If you walk into this place on a work day, the vibe you get is the same vibe you get if you walk into this hall next year. And yeah, I've actually tested and tried it. I mean, one of our new staff members, so we're very friendly here at Teach. Everybody, like, there's no organ, there's no boss, there's no, like, everybody's cool. Our core values are, I think, 2 I's. That's innovation, integrity, compassion, creativity, I think collaboration and excellence. And we have embodied that. I'm still going to talk about, operational factors that helped us achieve this and how you can take that information into your own business. Right, so one of our new team members, her name is Chidema, a brand designer. She came in last week. I was around. She came in last week and she met some of the team members. She was like, "Oh my God, I love you guys so much. You're so caring, you're so compassionate. You're very intentional about our welfare. And that ties down to our value of compassion." And then she came in this, I think, was it Thursday? She came in on Thursday and she met an entirely different team. Because those that came in last week were not those that she met. So I was around last week. Eri was not around last week. But she met Eri this week. And she met other team members. And she sent me a voice note and said the exact same thing that, "Oh my God, I met this," and the exact. So we have been able to preserve our culture, even with expansion, that she's not walking into the hall and someone is rude to her. That's already a red flag that something is wrong with our cultural system. We've not been able to preserve our culture. But over time, it's the same feedback, the same good comments, and we hope to preserve it even as we are preserved it over time. So yes, those are some of our milestones as an organization. Yes, so how did we achieve these milestones? 2 to 25, serving clients in Nigeria and outside Nigeria, managing multiple portfolios over a time. We decided to serve the innovation ecosystem. So when Teach started, or when Eric decided to start with Teach, it was third circle he had, which was just gathering social innovators like you guys and just training them over the course of 3 months. But he wanted to serve the. Do you need anything? Okay. So he wanted to serve the innovation system, and he decided to create offerings, to create initiatives that will cater to the innovation ecosystem. How did we achieve this? Third Circle caters to educators, business owners, social innovators. Festival of Change gathers people to talk about innovation. Now we're gathering 15 people. If at a point we say we want to gather 5,000 people and we want them to pay tickets, we want them to pay for tickets, we can actually do that. We're already doing the groundwork now. Right, we can increase our revenue in 5 years. We're serving the innovation ecosystem through Shop Mami, which is another product that allows customers and vendors make purchases while donating to a social cause. So what that looks like is you want to buy a mic, but it's $15,000 to the mic. You are paying $15,500 500 of it goes to an orphan. So we have built that system. We're serving the entire innovation system. That's how you can grow. You must create a product that serves a large number of people. And I'll tie it down to how Money Points to also do. Because where they are, Money Points is currently a unicorn, and they didn't do that in one day. They have to change strategy. So there are times your business has to change strategy. If you want to increase your revenue, if you want to grow, if you want to scale. If you know that selling ice cream is not working, maybe you need to add smoothies. You know that you have to change strategy. What would they look like on an operational level to add a new product? The businesses that grow and scale more are those that have multiple products offerings that can cater to a large market. Do you understand? Yes, designing fit for purpose systems. Look for what serves you. Like I talked about our leadership structure. We don't use a top down, we use holacracy. Another example, in our team, our task delegation structure is different across teams. I noticed, from an aerial view, I wanted the entire organization to use Notion, which is very easy to use and understand. But we saw that Notion was not working for tech team. They were not even interested in using it. Or okay, do we want to enforce this? We want to encourage collaboration. We want to encourage creativity. If they say it's not working for them, then it's not working for them. So we told them, look for what works for you. The main thing is, are you getting the work done? Are you getting the work done excellently? So we're very flexible. And that's something you must have, you must nurture as a business owner, as a leader. Don't be flexible, don't have a rigid mindset. So we had to make that decision to say that, okay, our task delegation system is going to be different across teams. So far it gets the work done. Right? What did it look like? Okay, refusing to compromise standards of growth. So as we grew teams, it meant that we needed to have documents that were outlining this is how to do things, this is how to get things done. So that there's no key man risk. We had a key man risk, and I'm going to be very vulnerable. We had a key man risk problem, I think around February. So some of our core staff that started with us from November, they had to leave to another location, and that meant them sort of leaving the organization, and they actually left on very good terms. We beat them, but then John was our CTO at the time. John is arguably, or maybe unarguably, the best developer I've worked with. He's insanely brilliant, and he used to lead our tech team. So, and because John is absolutely brilliant, some of the codes he was using were not regular codes. So the codes he was using, and he was managing multiple projects at the time that he left. Then we did not have a centralized system of, okay, you are moving a project to GitHub. We know GitHub, right? So GitHub is where tech projects, you can work on a project together as a tech team. I hope I'm saying it right. Right? So we didn't have that centralized system. So when John left, it shook us as a team. Because at that time, we also had an influx of orders, tech orders, and there was no John on our team. We had other team members, but nobody could match John's standard of excellence. So at the point, we're just literally where do we go from here? Because for some of the projects, the codes that he had written them, nobody else could write them. Nobody could even understand. So it means that some projects we had to start them over. So we had to solve that problem of that key man risk issue. Now going forward, when we incubate any tech project, it's not only one person that work on it. There will be a team. It's going to be centralized. It will be a code that anybody can write, even doing solar. Can. Something that will do the work, get things done. So yes, just that realization of key man. And that's something that I should also say to business owners. Don't build your business around a person. Don't say that because Sholape is the best designer, it's only Sholape I'll be giving my... Sholape will leave you. Sholape will drop her one day. Right? So ensure that what Sholape is doing can be replicated across other people. Does it mean that Now, if you have one Sholape who is excellent, who is a good professional, what would it mean to get someone like Ladipo to Sholape's standard of excellence? Would it mean training Ladipo? Would it mean training Ladipo? Yes. Would it mean you investing resources into that person's education, professional excellence? Yes. As a business owner, you must be able to spend money. If your team member comes in and says they need a course, better so you don't have key man. Yes. Voila. Right? So you must have that. Then proactive response to systemic shocks. Yes, I think that's one thing that I admire about the operations team here in Teach. Because we're a startup, we're young, under 6 months, we don't have enough data, and I believe that some of us may even be able to relate. You don't have enough data to achieve cloud thinking or to nurture your foresight skills. What that means is, as a business owner, as an operations person, and I still struggle with this, you must be able to think from an aerial view. That, okay, I'm seeing the entire organization. What do we need? What problem do I anticipate coming? For example, a systemic shock that we had to deal with in January was that bulk of our strongest men in the organization were NYC guys. All of them got call-up letters at the same time, meaning that all of them quit. If we had been proactive enough, we would have built a pipeline of talents. So we had to learn from that. And that also spurred us to start training interns. And you know what? We're going to open a talent pipeline for interns. Interns can come in, learn how to do branding, learn how to do tech. So that at a time where some of our strongest members have to leave, we have trained people who can fill in their gaps so that we are not dealing with system. Some of the things that we have dealt with as an organization, I'm not sure certain people can do them and still stay standing. Imagine you're working on a tech project that you're supposed to deliver, maybe demo is Friday, and the key man is gone, nobody understands the code. You have to start writing. What do you do? Wonders have happened in this organization. How do you pull off that magic? Yes, so you have to be proactive. You have to have a proactive response to. And I think I did I provided an outline of how you can deal with systemic shock. If something hits you as a business, how do you quickly chest it? Like we've had to chest a lot. For example, last week was one of my last week was a week. So let me give you guys backstory and how we handled it at operations. So we had a client from the UK. She's even living today. We are managing our portfolio, branding, tech, and programs. So she's ordered 3 packages from us. Now she wanted to host a workshop, autism circle of support workshop here in Lagos from the UK, and so she had contracted us that we're going to do it. We need to handle branding, we're going to handle everything. The designer had worked on all her brand designs, all her merch designs since like February. Everything was approved. Everything was good. It was sitting pretty on my WhatsApp, on my drive. On Tuesday, I was supposed to manage the correspondence between the printer to print out the brand items. And then I get a call from the printer that the format that I sent, the format that the designer designed the brand was not what would be printed on items. That was on Tuesday. We were supposed to print over hundreds of copies, notes, pens, shirts, bags. That was on Tuesday. The client was coming in on Wednesday for meeting. Client was supposed to see all items by Thursday. Designer was on his way to camp. He had already handed over to a new designer. Designer did not have access to his laptop. There was no way we could access the designs. And I'd even sent the designs to the printer before that. Okay, these are designs we're printing. Are they good? He said, okay, we need to get a call. The day was supposed to print that. How do we handle that? Because that was a rude shock to me. It meant that someone would have to start designing, and we actually did that thing that same day. The client don't know, and still today she doesn't know that everything had to be redesigned that same day. It was one of the most stressful days for myself and the designer. But we could have averted it, yes. But how do we respond to that systemic shock? The first thing I did was, okay, now the person that was working on it is called Israel. The new person is called Chidema. Israel was no longer a stakeholder on that subject matter. The first thing you do when you're responding to a systemic shock is gather relevant stakeholders. There's a problem. Who do you need to get this problem solved? As I called Israel, I'm like, Israel, you can't get this done, Abi. There's no how you can get your laptop. You are no longer a stakeholder in this conversation. Who's the next stakeholder? Chidema. Chidema, what do you need to get this done today? I need data, I need food, everything sorted. Do you need power supply? Yes, it's right at the hub. So you gather everybody that needs to work on that. Not that you now start with, oh my God, there's no more design. You now call the client and say, oh, no, I'm so sorry. You've lost a portfolio like that. The client just look at the entire organization like, who are these people? Or I now reach out to my boss and I'm saying, sir, this problem. Like, you must be able to troubleshoot immediately as a business owner. At that point, I could not assign blame to anybody. So there was no blame game that, oh, Israel, are you redesigning? Don't you know formats that can be printed on something? You have to eliminate blame from your equation when you're responding to any shock to your business. Remove it. The first thing that should be in your mind is, how do I get this solved? Who are the stakeholders that I need? You must be proactive about determining who the stakeholders are in solving any problem in your business. Then next thing, create an immediate path forward. So it meant me calling Chidema. Chidema, what tools do you need? Do you need access to maybe Canva Premium? Do you need food? Do you need internet? What do you need to get this done? Create an immediate path forward. I was ready to, at that point I was even ready to, because we have other designers, but they're working on other portfolios, and we cannot compromise on their own. I was ready to hire an external person who will deliver the same thing. You must be that proactive as a person. Would it cost you? Yes. But would it preserve your values? Ripple effects of a problem or of a shock. For example, for the key man risk issue that we had in January or February, we looked at it. How did this cost us as a business, as an organization? John leaving the team. How did it affect us as operations? How did it affect our customer experience? Because it did at a point. How did we bounce back from that experience? You're already gathering data, right? So identify. Then next thing is identify the root causes. So John was one of our strongest men. He was our key man, and then we had the key man risk issue. What caused it? Because every single product that came to the team was always giving it to John. When we could have been nurturing other developers. You know, you can have trust issues as a professional. I've had trust issues as a professional. I'm like, I think this person can handle this. I just use this person. But then what I'm doing is I'm not training this other person. If this person leaves, there's a key man risk issue. But if I've been giving this guy's projects, I'm upskilling this person in the way. If anything happens, they can be standing. Right, so yes, there's that. Then also record relevant data. Record relevant data. So as an operations team, we do an operational audit every month. What worked in the team? What did not work? Okay, what caused this? Why are we having these issues? You must always be asking yourself questions as a business owner. That if you don't ask questions, you can't get answers. And also the quality of your questions also matter as a business owner. You can't be asking top level questions that will actually make you probe. Like as a business, one of the questions that we ask in operations team is, what do we foresee happening the next month? For example, now we know that okay, we have 2 NYC members. What would that look like when they leave? Who is going to continue their work when they leave? There's already a flow. So that you don't leave and then we're looking. But you already had that data that these people who are here for this period, within 9 months, they're going to be, after 9 months, they're going to leave. If they choose to stay, yes. If they say they're not staying, what's the next way forward? And when I'm going to start, is it when they leave, we'll now say, we're going to start hiring? Right, so you must be able to collect data as a business, analyze that data and interpret that data to get information that will serve your business. Do you understand? Yes, so I already talked about periodic operational audits. Then cloud thinking, seeing the picture. So this was one of my biggest problems as an operations person. Like I was always thinking about the day-to-day work. Oh, I need to send this person this task. I need to reach out to this client. But then what it did to me was I was not able to see the organization from an area level to anticipate problems or to recognize opportunities. That okay, there is a person in branding who has a skill set that can serve us in programs. That's how to think. That's how to nurture your cloud thinking skills. That okay, this person, maybe we should move this person to this place. Not that the only thing I'm focused about is I need to send that to this, so I need to send that to Angela. I need to call Eric to reach out to this client. All of those things. Those are ground level work, which you will still do as a business owner, but you should be able to see the business from an area view and say that what are the opportunities that I'm seeing in this organization? What are the risks that I'm seeing? Maybe somebody has become I'm looking for the word, has become anti your values. You have compassion as your value, and the person is not compassionate. That's a red flag. You need to be able to see from your and say like, call out the person. You know, need to have a discussion with that person, so that they're not rude to a client. It's simple things. See, operational growth is not always in the numbers. It's not about, oh, you have a team size of 25. Is it that you are able to also preserve the culture and the values of your organization? If your team is expanding and there is a decline in your culture, there is a problem. You have not succeeded on an operational level. Because everything, you have to maintain the same standards at every level. So yes, building operational learning resource. So something that we have in Teach, how we're able to achieve our growth, we have a learning resource. What this looks like is every member over the next 3 months, you have something that you're learning. As a team, you also have something that you're learning. For your business, it could be that maybe you and your staff, you want to learn about communications. Integrate that into your operational flow. And maybe once a month, we'll have a conversation around communications. How do we do in terms of communications? How many YouTube videos did we watch? Right? So yes, we have that in our works. Intentionally empowering your inner circle also helps with growth. So your business must have, yes, we are talking about not having key man risk issues, but you should also have upholders of your business. People that, if you are not on ground, your business will still survive. If your business revolves around you, it can't grow and it can't scale. So you must be able to build your inner circle. People who, if they see Tolani and they see Sholakwe, they can't tell the difference, right? In terms of quality delivery, in terms of excellence, right? Also, what helped us achieve our growth? Train everybody to mind their business. I have struggled with that, right? Train everybody to mind. You are in social media. You're supposed to be generating content, thinking of content. Why are you bothered with sending client a message? It's not your work. Can you help me do that? Yes. But that's why you have a structure. Roles, responsibilities. Nothing is overlapping. Our admin person, she's in operations too. I should not be found sending contract letter to the staff. That's not my work. So everybody has their roles and responsibilities, and this is going to help you as a business owner, so that you don't do what will not serve you. When you're supposed to be looking for clients, making calls, you are not on social media posting when you have a social media manager. So we have trained people to mind their business. I don't do what a tech person should do, right? But is this ruling out co-creation, collaboration? No. I'm just saying that because, during our stand-ups, people contribute. If you have an operational challenge, people from other teams can also offer ideas, offer initiative. We welcome it. Now, we're not saying that everybody should keep to themselves. No. But what you have been employed to do it and do it excellently. Alright, so yes, continuous improvement. If something is working, the question we're asking is how you make it work better. If something is not working, okay. You see that we have to stop this, or what do we need to get this better? What would that look like in your business? If a client says that, oh, they like your feedback, like when they reach out to you, maybe by 10, you answer them in 2 minutes, and that's a good feedback. How do you amplify that response? I said, okay, you know what? Let's even push to 1 minute response time. What would that look like for your business on an operational level? Okay. Money points. As I wrap up my session. So yeah, money points. Money points is, we're going to talk about how they grew, how they scaled. So money point is a unicorn currently, and a unicorn is any business that is valued at $1 billion. Money point is Africa's fastest growing fintech. How they have processed 5.2 billion in annualized transactions. They have served over 2 million businesses, and they've expanded, into digital banking services. How did they achieve this? Because this now MoneyPoint was not MoneyPoint, was not always MoneyPoint. They were called TeamApt. So TeamApt was a tech firm that used to build software for banks. So if UBA wanted to maybe upgrade their internet banking or stuff, they would call TeamApt. But they were serving only a minute part of the entire market, just banks. And they wanted to set the ecosystem because they wanted to grow, so they had to change strategy. What did MoneyPoints do? They moved from just offering software for banks to serving the entire populace, underserved and underbanked people. So if you walk to maybe 10 stores, you see a MoneyPoint machine, POS. You seldom see any other brand. They have owned the market, but they had to change strategy. That's why I mentioned earlier that as a business, you must not be rigid. If something is not working, it's not working. Don't say that. Don't say that my faith. Don't say my faith will make you. Do you understand? Yeah. If something is not working, it's not working. And you have tried, it's still not working. Change strategy. So MoneyPoints changed strategy. They moved from just serving banks to serving the entire populace. Now, even in business, if you enter commercial institutions, you see, if you want to pay for, you just put your card, money done. Are they making money? Yes. For you to be able to process this annually and to become a unicorn in Nigeria, I think it's maybe Nigeria's only unicorn. I don't know. Tech unicorn, maybe. Yes. So robust agent network. These people, I think as at maybe 2022, they had employed over, or 2023, maybe 800,000 agency providers, like the POS guys. And they're not paying them directly. They didn't have to. How many MoneyPoint offices do you see? And they are serving the entire nation every day. Strategy. You're like, okay, what we need, open a call. If you want the machine, just buy the machine and set up everything. We'll be making our deductions, you're getting your profits. They have decentralized the entire flow. They didn't make it revolve around them. That said, okay, we have to directly employ agency providers, now put out a call for 1,000. There's no time for that. You want to serve people. So yes, they had to have a robust agent network. The next thing that they had to do was reliable technology and infrastructure. If you are serving underbanked, underserved people who want money on the go, it means that your tech has to be solid. Not that I'm putting in my card and it's taking 10 minutes to load. The average time to get money at the POS is, I think, a minute. Once you put your card, everything, you get your money under a minute. Their tech is so solid that it can serve the entire populace. They have solved that problem. They've done the groundwork on an operational level from their tech team. If you're going to serve 20,000 people a day, it's not only Elizabeth that will run that kind of package. Do you understand? So they've done that groundwork. Also, because of the kind of service they wanted to offer to the populace, they had to solve their whole licensing and regulatory issue. So that after serving maybe 20,000 people, CBN does not come and arrest Tosin Eniola, that his name is Eniolorunda, like you have committed a crime. So he has done the groundwork of okay, legal compliance, you have gotten the license, you have done this. So as a business, what registrations do you need to have now? Do you need to start filing tax returns, all of those things? So that when you scale, when you grow, they don't come and arrest you. Have you heard of Kirikiri? Yes, now businesses grow and that's how scandals break out. You didn't solve a problem in your legal flow, in your legal processes. So that's how they were able to grow. Alright. Revenue-driven business model. So yes, I think last time when they became a unicorn, they had gotten about $110 million from investments. But MoneyPoint is not running only on investments. MoneyPoint gets money every day from their transactions. So as a business, why we don't encourage you to borrow? In fact, you should not even borrow as a business if you are not making money daily. And I think Ari had mentioned it that when you want to go and scale, you don't always need money. Because you want to go and scale, you know you're not making money as a business. You now want to go and borrow. How do you want to? When you have not been, do you understand? So it means that there's a strategy problem. There's a strategy problem. So yes, they have a revenue-driven business model. They are not just getting money from investors. They get money every day from the service that they offer. Also, smart brand positioning and rebranding helped MoneyPoint grow. So they used to be called Team Apt, right? But they wanted to serve the entire populace and needed a name that people could relate to. MoneyPoint. At this point, I will get my money. Word. But what's Team Apt? Like, what's Team? Like, okay, what's Team? I can't relate to Team Apt, but I can relate to MoneyPoint, right? So for you, it might mean changing your messaging, changing your communication, changing your name, changing project strategy, offering a whole new product or service, right? Yes. So last thing before Eric comes up, operational framework that you can use for your business, and it's good for you to actually have this sketch. So I come up with this operational framework after I'd done an analysis of the problems, challenges that we had as a team and an organization over the space of a period. And I could tell that some of these problems could be solved if all of these questions were answered. So you have your business. What's your big goal? What's your business? Now, what's your me goal? So this talks about organization's goal. It talks about the self goal or the team goal. So, for example, Festival of Change, we want to reach 15 people. We want to have 4 competitions, and now we have changed strategy because now it's no longer a national conversation; it's an African conversation because now we have international speakers from North Africa, East Africa who are speaking. So that's our big goal. Now, where do I feature in this goal? Say I'm the social media manager for Festival of Change. The big goal is to reach 15 people, get have 4 competitions, 3 keynote sessions, get 10 million plus in funding. That's the big goal, right? My own big goal as social media manager is saying that anybody that needs to, like, I need to get the message to this 15 people who will be present. Which means that, okay, so let me break this down. So who? This identifies the specific person responsible for executing task. Who is the person? Like, okay, this is Doinsola. What's her role? She's the content lead of FOC. Does what? Drafts the content strategy. Post on social media. So this talks about the role and responsibilities. Why does Doinsola do all of this? So that she can get the 15 people who will be in attendance on that day, so that potential sponsors would have heard about FOC on social media and would have gotten our funds. So it clarifies the purpose, the rationale behind whatever you're doing. When do I actualize this task? Does it mean that I have to be posting every day? Or does it mean once a week or twice a week? Now we have this framework for each and every member of the FOC team from convener to programs lead to partnerships person, everybody has a me goal. Partnerships to raise 10. He's sending emails every day. When? Where? How is he sending the emails? Online. Through a platform, right? Maybe mail merge. If he's doing bulk SMS, there is a platform. So where? How does he do it? Actually sending out the emails. So this talks about processes that we are talking about. Now, what if? Now, what if answers the question of risk scenarios, contingency plans, problem solving measures. What if something happens and this strategy does not work? What if Oriofe, who is our partnerships person, cannot get 10 million from sponsors? What's our backup plan? What if answers this? What if the 10 people in Elizabeth's database of people that can deliver 2,000 fruit cups, what if they just come and say they cannot do it? Does she have another backup plan? So what if answers the question of risk? How do we anticipate it? For example, we have a strategy of getting this 1-5 people outside of social media strategy. What if social media ads doesn't convert? It means that at a certain point, we have to do attendance mapping. Who are we reaching out to? It means that we have to visit some offices physically. We're not solely dependent on social media. Answer the question of what if. So, take this framework in your business. Who do you need in your business? Do you need a social media manager at this time? Do you need a tech person at this time? What are they going to be doing? Roles and responsibilities. Why do they need to be doing it? When do they need to be doing it? Where do they need to be doing it? How should they be doing it? For example, if your brand's tone is professional, why is your communications manager using a Gen Z language or a very informal tone? So how? We are going to be using professional tone only. You have to be very meticulous about all these things. What if? So everybody has their what if questions. What if I'm not able to get 1-5 people? What's our next strategy? What if we can't get 10 people? What if some of our speakers call in 2 days to the event and say that they're no longer coming? What's our backup strategy? So all of this helps you build a solid operational framework that would serve your business. I hope I've been able to convince you and to convince you that yes, that you need operations in your business. So yeah, I'll just open it up for questions at this time. Do you have any questions, or I think we'll just wait till after the entire session. Thank you so much. Yeah, so we have our break session.
Are you ready for step two? Are you ready for step two? 1, 2, 3, let's go, say.
Ìdèmí ti já, ṣẹ̀kẹ̀ṣẹ̀kẹ̀ ti bọ́, ọ̀run ti ṣí, ire mi wọlé dé. Mo ti lálùyọ, omi lórí skyscraper. Mo ti wà lókè, má lọ́nà gẹ̀rẹ̀, wá bá mi lókè. Lọ́nà gẹ̀rẹ̀, wá bá mi lókè.
If you look me, you can see say I be a mobile. I just the thing I post. It does the bust in my brain. Everywhere they go, I they got papa, me know me.
Lady, what? I can hear you. Say what, say what? Ladies and gentlemen, you don't mean it. Let's go. Can you count it? Can you think of it? Of course. When I think of the goodness of Jesus and all he has done for me, I know big count, I know big count, I know big count. You the try counter, I know big counter. You the try counter, I know big counter. It's plenty job.
All right.
Spirit of prophecy.
Thank you very
This is
much, sir.
definitely the gem of the year.
We have limited
Count the
time
goodness of
for.
Jesus and reflecting our authority in Christ as sons and daughters of Jesus, of the Most High. God bless you.
Help me turn to your neighbor. Say, my neighbor, are you ready to give God praise?
Yes, sir.
God is good and God is kind. Hallelujah. Tell your neighbor, give me space, give me space, give me space. You can turn it up. Turn it up. Yeah!
Kini Mura, Sini, Kini Silva, Kini Capital, I never trade you for nothing. See me as I am, I'm rolling deep. We're intertwined, oh, I fill out your mind. See me as I am, I'm staggering. For your love's a rarity, it's very hard to find. Oh, let me so good, oh, let me tell you. Oh, watching them up, oh, let me tell you. Oh, for me, la la, la la, for ya, eh. Kole seni, ma seni, tale for ya, way. Oh, when me talking, oh, when me tell, oh. Oh, rumo, jinama, oh, when me tell, oh. Oh, for me, la la, for ya, eh. Kole seni, ma seni, tale for ya, way. We're locked in harmony, we're locked in synergy, there's none in between. It's written in the stars for me, written in the sands, my feet. I'm in your ocean state. I'm in the ocean. Ooh, see me as I am. I wanna see your full glory all over me. See me as I am. I wanna feel you closer and closer to me. Oh, when me talking, oh, when me dead, oh. Oh, jinama, oh, when me dead, oh. Oh, for me, la la, for ya, eh. Kole seni, ma seni, tale for ya, way. Oh, when me talking, oh, when me dead, oh. Oh, jinama, oh, when me dead, oh. Oh, for me, la la, for ya, eh. Kole seni, ma seni, tale for ya, way.
Okay. Look will I fathom or comprehend this love you give. Tell me, where do I begin? Oh, wait. Look at my hands up. Kimake bicherubim. Kabi serafim. Money lowo. Lowo timo wayo. You want him official shambora. Your mercy, your goodness. In my finger and I feel it. Oh, I see it. Gratitude is and so with everything in me, I say, yes. I need you people to sing with me. Now you're not grateful. Come on. Oh, somebody move to the right and the left. Cause every time I look to my right, every time I look to my left, all I see all over me is your faithfulness. Every time I look up, down in the middle, every time I look from top down below, all I see all over me is your faithfulness. It's your faithfulness. See, I know. Just look behind you for a bit. Look behind you. See what these people are doing. Let's do it together. Look will I fathom or comprehend this love you give. Tell me, where do I begin? Tell me, where do I begin? Look at my hands up. Kimake bicherubim. Kabi serafim. Money lowo. Lower timo wayo. You want him official shambora. Your mercy, your goodness, in my finger and I feel it. Oh, I see it. Gratitude is it. Are you guys ready to sing with me? And so with everything in me, I say, Jesus. People over there, are you? Oh, I see you. At the back. Say, show. Esheo. Eric, I said, cause every time I look to my right, every time I look to my left, all I see all over me is your faithfulness. Every time I look up, down in the middle, every time I look from top down below, all I see all over me is your faithfulness. It's your say, show, just, I say with everything, give me, I say, just, cause every time I look to my right, I look to my left, all I see all over me is your faithfulness. Every time I look up, down in the middle, from top down below, all I see all over me. So by next week Friday, on Friday, this coming Friday, you guys will have this song.
Will I fathom or comprehend the slur you give? Tell me, where do I begin to be? Oh Lord, Timo, why you want to fish Shobora? Your mercy, your goodness, in my finger and I feel it. Oh, I see it. Gratitude the same. I saw it everything in me. I said, show, 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 just. With everything in me, I said, show, just. Cause every time I look to my right, every time I look to my left, all I see all over me is your faithfulness. Every time I look up, down, middle, every time I look from top down below, all I see all over me is your faithfulness. Is your faithfulness. Oh, I know, I know, I know, I know. I still cannot fathom or comprehend this love you give. Tell me, where do I begin? Tell me, where do I begin? Look at my hands up. Give my cabbage.
But I was very, very inspired by, the things that she shared. And I think it's very close to home because that's what we've been doing for the last, since we started. And my work here is actually very simple. I don't have plenty work again. Doing Sola has already said a lot of things. But we mentioned earlier that we have 3 things that are very important for anybody, that's very important for anybody who wants to scale. Right? And go. So, and I said that there are some factors that are involved in scaling and in growth. We established that it is very important that one of the things that we had established was that it's very important that we understand our business. And I mentioned 3 factors. The first one is processes, people, and product, right? And I said processes speaks to what? Processes speaks majorly to your operations, your operational flow. Every single thing Doinsola said, right, was about processes, right? The processes involved in ensuring that your business is, at a very good place, right? So she also mentioned briefly about people, right? The people that, you have, avoiding key man risk, ensuring that you have enough. I spoke about inventory and all of that, but she really went into the depth of this. But I actually, for this workshop, I had so many things to prepare for. So there's a rule that I have personally, and I think if you hear you doing so that you understand that I might be very intense as to certain processes. So if you have a workshop, there's a minimum amount of hours that you must spend preparing for it. Like I said, so that the results are not just, you are not lucky. Do you understand? So we try so much to do that. So while I prepared for this workshop a whole lot, and I thought about a lot of things, I spent a lot of time in isolation just thinking about the kind of results I wanted to see and the kind of information that I wanted people to hear. Because there's nothing we are saying here that if you search on YouTube, you will not see. Right? So what makes it different? Why am I asking people to come? Why am I not just doing a webinar? It must be worth people's time, people's transport fare, and every single thing like that. And we've just done first half of this. And from the feedback and from things I've been seeing and I've been hearing, it's very obvious and very evident that this is different. Right? So I was thinking about it, and I had all of my notes. I had I had to just pull up this new thing. I had a very beautiful slide with pictures and everything like that. But then I changed it overnight, which was something I would not do. But I realized that I needed to speak to the essence of what is really required to grow and to scale, and not every other thing you can learn online. So Doinsola has done a lot of work. I mean, she has done a lot of work. She has told you about people, processes, the frameworks that we use, all of the stories, how many shocks that we've had, and this is just all the shocks that she explained to you are just 10% of the shocks that we face on a daily basis, in this place. So, but I want to start with something. To scale and to grow anything, you have to mind your business. I know she said it briefly, but that's the greatest thing I tell every single person that works with me. And it's not rude. It's just focusing on what matters. So my own mind your own business, though I introduced it, but my own mind your own business is going to come from a different angle of minding your own business. So I mentioned earlier that 3 things are very important for to scale or grow anything. I call them the 3 P's. Yeah? So what are they?
Processes, people, and product.
And in this process, if you've listened to the solar work, Mr. Veda mentioned SOPs, have you? Pipelines, cloud thinking. What other thing did the solar mention that is important for processes? Anyone that stood out to you that you feel like, when she was talking about operations, that you think you learned, not what you've written on your notes, what is coming to mind that you want to go and do in your business after today, operationally? What's that one thing that came out to you?
What stood out for me was when she said, if you have a problem, you need to know who are the stakeholders.
God bless you. Understanding the stakeholders. And it's very important. People cry over split milk a whole lot. I don't stress myself. So why didn't you do it? Don't you know you were supposed to push this? Then you and the person you are doing back and forth. I almost caught myself doing that back and forth 3 weeks ago with some members of our team. I just realized that I can't spend time arguing as to or trying to prove a point that it has already happened. Just fix it. Right. So stakeholders, what stood out to you?
For me, I would say it's the shock part.
The shock part.
Yes.
Interesting.
Like how to argue it, how to find the root, and how
shock.
to
Yeah.
join self-distinction.
Yeah. Shock will always happen. I mean, every single day, shock will always happen. In fact, there is shock in the kitchen. I'm not joking. Like, so we have this whole thing where when people come, like we actually provide meals. Shock happens. There's a lady that helps us a lot. Her name is Margaret. She's the one that handles like the facility and the kitchen and everything like that. When she says hello sir, my heart, I'm like, what is it? Because I'm like, okay, so are you telling me that in 2 months we have not the quantity of what we are using is the same, but the prices are like 3x? I'm like, maybe people should not use tissue paper again. When you say, or maybe you start asking yourself, how important is air freshener? Like, do people really need lights? When there's sun, like, maybe everybody should charge from home. When you think about all of these things, but then shocks happen. So how do you navigate that? Right? What are the things within your control and what is not? Which is where I'm going to actually with minding my own business. So what's that for you? Systems and structures. Love it. Systems and structures. Okay. Yeah. What's it out to you, Elizabeth? Flexibility. Yes, you can't be rigid and be successful at the same time. It's not possible. You have to choose one. It's not possible that. I'm serious. You can't. It's just like you want to be successful. You want to be right. It's not possible. So flexibility is very important. How flexible are you? Some people are still claiming to be radionic to today. Very interesting. And they have shops. It's just very interesting. Right? That's their full-time profession. What do? Say I'm a radio engineer. Okay. All right. Let's go there. Engineer. Just psych them a bit. I mean, you have to respect the labels. But it's not every time that effort doesn't always guarantee success. Effort doesn't always guarantee success. So flexibility. Anyone else? Is there anything that came to you that you want to share in the installer session? All right, beautiful.
So about motivation as well. Like what motivates?
What motivates you? Very important. When she mentioned that, I'm like, yeah. You know, so I used to take this session a lot. And I think I used to say it like understand what motivates people. I can't remember what session. Well, I think it's motivation. There's a session I used to take and I used to talk about that. It's in third circle, yes. So there's a, like she said, we have an academy like where we train people, and I talk about it a lot. If you want to get, which takes me to what I want to really talk about in this session, and I'm not going to take time. It's people. People are not so difficult like that, so you must spend too much time. If you want to get people to, you need people to scale anything and to grow anything. You can't be, there's a limited number of places you can be at the same time. I started stress testing my team a month, even less than a month, like just over a month, when I knew that onboarding was already complete. And I feel like, so now here's the thing. Imagine your business as a child, as a baby that you gave birth as an infant, you know, after 9 months. When everyone say congratulations, everything, you're breastfeeding the child. The child is trying to walk, right? So he's trying to, like, you know, at some point, you know, you have to stay behind the child. So in case the child wants to fall, you can support the child. But then it gets to a point where if you keep holding the child will not learn how to walk. So my own process is not hard. Once I feel like you have started walking, the next thing I want to do is to leave your back. Let me see how good you are in walking. So I remember, like, even in the week that we had the first festival of change, I traveled. I'd gone to Abuja and I wasn't with you. I just wanted to see how much of, but also obviously because I've already done what if, like, if I come back and I realize that there's problem, I already know what to do. Do you understand? Like, I already had like contingencies in place, but like, so most times, you know, you have to do that, and you have to do all of those stress tests a bit. You know, every single time you have to test your team, see how efficient they are. You know, in the events that some things are not happening. You know, sometimes when Sola threatens me a lot, right? I say, you must not go. You are going nowhere. I'm like, let's see. You can do it, right? You guys can do it. So, and the whole idea is that we can have a formidable and a resilient team, right? But then, how do you get people? Because the Sola didn't find, like, she's not the founder of Teach, right? But how do you get people like John, who is still with us, who is a brilliant mind doing Solar? How do you get people like Anjola Olua, who has been with us since the beginning? How do you get people like Israel? How do you get, you know? So there are a lot of people. So it's not just only one person that we have. Do you understand? It's like a whole lot of. So how do you get those people to still even commit to you even after they are long gone? Volunteer. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to do? One, where are you going? Two, let's not be stressing ourselves with too much English. My mission is, I have this passion. Passion doesn't pay bills. I mean, I am very passionate. Honestly, nobody has paid. I've never gone and say I have two passion. say, exactly. You say this phone, two passion. You know. $2 passion. You know, passion doesn't pay bills. And most of the successful movement, as much as, you know, I established something very early in my opening remarks, that as much as heat or fire is very important in making a food, it doesn't guarantee whether the food will be sweet or not. So passion is important, but it doesn't guarantee whether you'll be successful. Or it doesn't even guarantee whether you will have followers. And that's why many people get frustrated and shortchanged, especially as sole proprietors. They wake up every morning, they are very active, and you know, on some days, you know, they just start crying. Nobody's supporting me. And you see the pain. The pain is like it's real. Waking up every single morning to do something you are passionate about. You've made so much sacrifices, right? You've made so much sacrifices, but then, you know, nothing seems to be working, or you don't seem to have support. So how do you deal with people? People need to know what you are trying to do and where you are going. It's very simple. If people don't know what you are trying to do, if people don't know where you are going, you're not going to get them to follow you. You will not. That's why for most, at the beginning, most of the core hires that we had in this organization, I spent my time to tell them what we were trying to do and where we were going. And what Teach would look like by 2050. So it's easy. And it's for the business. Like, when I say mind your business, also like understanding that this person that, also we tell people a lot of relevant information. So someone is coming to your organization as a graphics designer, and you're telling them that, oh, you want to become the largest, he probably doesn't connect with them because what they are doing is design. So what they want to understand is how this design that they are doing, how it fits into the big picture. So for example, if I go and meet the design team and I say, now I want you guys to be called, something as simple as this. Okay, I want you guys to be called, let's say, Dynamo. Or I want you guys to be called this. I want you guys to be called that. And the whole idea behind it is to ensure that I want you people to, whatever creativity that comes out of this team, I want you to bring clarity to people. So I don't want you to just think of it as content. I want you to think of it as whatever it is that I do in this work brings clarity to people. Because with clarity, it changes everything. Every single thing that we're looking for is at the other side of ignorance. Like, once you have knowledge, once you get clarity and knowledge, you can produce results. So I'm telling the graphic designer that every design that you make in this organization, I want you to explain and I want you to be clear. So they are thinking of, even when they are thinking of concept, it's like, how clear can this thing be? How simple is this thing? Right? And there is everything that I say every time. I want every single team to be working for Teach, but it's just that there's a level of excellence that I've seen in our team. So much so that the design team can organize a workshop and say we want to train people. That's level of creativity and level of clarity that we want people to see in our designs. The same way I want. So it's that communication of this is actually what we are looking for. It's not just, so I say it every time. It's not about what we build. I don't really care so much about what we build as much as I care about who people become. So I know I want to build great products, but I'm like I wake up every morning to think about how I can build great people. Because if I build someone who is great, everything that comes out of someone great is great. Do you understand? So it's me saying that you're coming into this team, there's one thing I guarantee you, your life will change. And I will hold your hands. So everything is not money at the beginning. But there are some people that money is their motivation. So understand what motivates people. And 3 things motivate people in life most of the time. I say it every time. One is money. The second one is recognition. People go and work with some international organizations. I don't want to mention them because there are some big international organizations that they will never pay you, but they have people working for them for free because it makes them look good. For example, the UN as an institution is clearly stated they don't do paid internships. So if you see someone work interning in UN, United Nations, they're not getting paid. But I'm very sure that the moment I tell you that, I work at the United Nations, trust me, if you're at 0, your rating for me is like 100. Like, oh wow, about to be diplomat. I'm like, stop it, I'm like, I was just with this diplomat last week. It sounds very sweet, to talk about, all of those kind of things. So what UN is using to take people is recognition. How it makes people feel, how it makes people around them feel. Even parents, mommy, United Nations, Loma Wabai, and the guy is probably even struggling to buy toothpaste, but he's at United Nations. But some people, they don't care if it is Donald Trump that is inviting them to come and work for free. As long as they first ask how much is Donald paying. So that's it, they don't care. I genuinely know some people that if you give them 10 naira, like, it's not about the amount of money, it's just the fact that there's money. they are just all over the place. So you need to understand that some people that money is the drive for them. Just the feeling of, and underneath this money thing is just security actually. They just want to feel like their value is being appreciated for something. So sometimes it's not money you offer them. It's not money you offer them. I mean, I've had people who have worked on projects for me, and what I offered them was like, I was just going to pay for like, I'm like, oh, I can't afford to pay you this money that you're asking for. But do you have like, I remember one particular guy that he worked with me for 6 months, and the only thing I just did was I handled all his laundry bills. That's all. I'm just like, I'll handle all your laundry bills. I'll pay your dry cleaner like for like 6 months. Just ensure that you do this work for me. That relieves them of something. He was like, eh. So in his own wisdom, he was asking all his friends that, how far I have a maga that is paying, but it's true that no matter how much clothes do they want to wear, how much clothes do they want to wear, if that guy is going to charge me, I cannot pay him. He cannot wear 200 clothes in a month because he himself, his conscience will prick him that how can I wear it if I'm wearing clothes 3 times a day? If I'm wearing clothes 3 times a day in 30 days, that's 90 now. So you can't give me 200 clothes. And that time, washing clothes were at that time you could get discount. They tell you if you wash 20 shirts, you get that. So it was quite affordable in that way for me. So understanding value and exchange for value is very important, right? So you have, and also before you start looking for people, look for your size. When I say look for your size, I'm not saying that you should not get the best. Do you understand what I'm saying? Look for your what? Size. Look for your size. It's very simple. I like to use a lot of similar examples. You can get to a market. Let's say you get to a co. You see plenty shoes. The moment you see a shoe that is fine, your heart knows that this shoe will fit me. The next question you start asking is what? Your size. Before you even get to the price, does this shoe, before I break my heart, let me even first see. Before you argue price, let me even first see whether this shoe what sizes me. And there's always your size. If you search deep enough, they'll tell you that, okay, this one, even when you first wear it, and maybe at size 8 and size 11 that they have on the store, the guy will tell you that, wait, let me go and check inside. There is size 8 of this particular shoe. So you know the talent you are looking for. All I'm asking for is what? Look for your what? Look for your size. So I'm not saying that you should go and get someone who is not proficient. I'm just saying that find your size. Meaning that if you know that it is size 11 that you are wearing, and you are now in the market searching for size 16. Size 16 will charge you the price of what? Size 16. I can be wearing the same white Crocs, the same product, but we can be using different sizes. So that's the problem. So you are probably just starting. You probably don't have money to employ someone who is a graduate, put them on pension, put them on a full-time. Just find your size. Find a very brilliant high school student that is trying to look for a gap, that is trying to take a gap year. Try to find an undergraduate that wants to do a particular, just look for your what? Size. But don't compromise. Because it's still the same shoe. Do you understand? It might just be that, you might have to do some training, some things here and there, but just look for your size. When you look for your size, the shoe will fit. Sometimes you employ your guys at work, so they are the ones telling you what to do. I'm not saying that you should not listen to people. I'm just saying that you want to find someone you can fit with, someone that is compatible with, with your vision. At some point in this organization, I used to say it. Every time I like, because all the strategies will bring you into the team. In 2 weeks, you are just speaking English. Even the person that cannot speak half of the English is getting work done. Do you understand? And it's not that, I think it's because they are not my size. There are certain organizations and businesses and structures that those people fit in with, that their English will be well implemented by people that cannot speak the English. But at the stage of my organization, I need to find my size. I need someone that can get their hands dirty. Like, they are giving me advice and strategy, and they can also do implementation and follow up with it as to, okay, is this thing really working? And they are flexible enough to iterate. Not tell me that, I just come once a month to do strategy for you, you implement it, and I come next month to see the progress. Please. something that every single day something is happening. Pricing is changing, customer is changing mind. So many things are happening. So you can't be telling me that you are doing. So do you understand? So you have to look for your size. So there are certain people that, in all honesty, they have come to meet me. Oh, Erioluwa, your service, this, I want to work with you. I'm like, yes, but you're not my size. I cannot tell you what to do. You're not my size. You can't get your hands dirty. You that you be, because of how busy you are and how much you value your time. 2 o'clock, you start shining eyes that you want to go. And some of us are still here until 7. Do you understand? So it's not, it's just me knowing my size. So if you want to hire, look for your size. Understand what motivates the person. For some people, it is money, recognition. Some people, it is growth. I know people, honestly, I know people who have taken pay cuts to join this organization because they know they will grow. So that's their own. The moment they stop growing is the day they leave you. It's not hard. Like the day that you hear like this, that they hear like this, that they just just sudden realization. In the last 3 months I've not developed. That's the day they will submit their resignation letter, because they know that they would rather be working somewhere that they are not growing and be making serious money. They are taking a pay cut, or they are to be here. So the least you can just deliver your polling unit of growth. It's just very simple. Some of them are, and also another thing that you have to look out for people who are transitioning in careers. So maybe someone used to be in a particular sector and they now want to go into another sector. Some people are willing to take lesser pay because they are going into a new sector. But you have those people, they are not looking for money and recognition. What they are looking for is growth. So you have to be intentional about their growth. You have to be intentional. All these things I'm sharing are from like a strategic angle of a founder, not HR. That's what I'm not talking about. These interview questions you ask. Go and hire HR professionals for that. I don't know about that. But ensure that your vision, you have what you are trying to do. You understand where you are going. You understand the person that you have recruited and understand what their motivation is. Is it money? Is it recognition? Is it growth? So the person that recognition matters to, you have to understand that anytime they do a task, if they've done it well, they need to be recognized. Everybody needs to clap for them. You have to write the letter. You have to write appreciation letter. You have to give them best team member of the month. There's a particular member of our team that recognition is a motivation. The month that she won the best team member, everybody on LinkedIn did not rest. Do you understand? All this while that she has been in this company, she did not talk about where she was working. But the day that she won best team member in the entire team, oh goodness God, she tagged everybody. She tagged me. I say, everybody is congratulations. Don't mention them. I say, Do you understand what I'm trying to say now? And you know the funny thing? Since she made that announcement, the work rate has doubled. Because she wants to win again. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you have to understand the motivation. And I know some people that we pay salary 24th or 25th. When do we pay? 25th of every month. 24th, they're already knocking your door. You know, like, not anything, but they just want to know, I hope you are fine. You just want to, I mean, why you checking? You not check on me middle of the month. You just, hope you are fine. So there was a time like that we were transitioning like banks. We had a bit of bank issue. I think what happened, 25th was on a Saturday, and people were not going to get, because we had bank issues, people were not going to get money paid until Monday. That Sunday, I don't see, hello Harry, I just want to check in. I asked, honestly, I was like, oh, we actually have issues with our bank at the moment, but it will be resolved on Monday. Do you have any emergency? In case you have any emergency, I can stand in for you. Then on Monday, everything will be. He said, no, I just want to know why my money has not asked. So it's not like he has any emergency. It's just that money is his motivation. Honestly, that weekend, he had a tax that he had to deliver on. He did not deliver on. He said he no get motivation. Because I had to call him. I was like, so what I did was like, okay, no problem. I will buy you dinner. He said, yeah! He just I said, I will send you money to just buy dinner. I think I sent 5,000 or so. I got my work in 2 hours. Like, it's just more, he doesn't have any, and it's not like he doesn't like the company. He likes the company. But his problem or it's motivation. It's not a problem. It's motivation. It's just money. Even when you are saying we want to do this project, so how much are we doing? How much are we going? How much is the client going to pay? Sometimes you're like, oh, this is how much. You say, it's too small now. That's his own, right? That's just his motivation. So you need to understand what motivates people, and the people who it is growth. Please ensure that they grow. Pay for their courses. Send them to courses. Like ensure they get the trainings. Ask experts to train them. If you are starting, focus so much on these people. And also, you have to be very wise. Some people are trying to grow in your organization to branch out very quick. So do what Doinsola has said. When they come back, they do a share back. Everything that you have learned, teach other people. Be very quick to attach 1 or 2 people with them that they can train. Or even if they cannot train, they can solve like standard operating procedures and just create certain things. So that's all I know about people. If you do all of this, let them align with your vision. Let them align with, like, what are you trying to do, where you are going, and just know all of this. I think you'll be fine, at least to start, right? So today I'm actually about to come to the end. I don't really think there's so much. I don't believe that when people come for workshop, they should be loaded. Like, I just want you to go home with one thing you can work on and implement, and that's why our workshops are every quarter. Is something that I can do in 3 months. Next quarter we'll deal with something else. Do you understand? So let's not learn. Don't think that it's today I want to learn all the things that will solve all the problems in your business. No, just learn the one that you can do in the next 2-3 months, and we'll come back again and check our notes and progress. And I think there are weekly emails that you will get. So there are weekly emails. So there's a system. Just learn what you can learn today that can improve your business. Every week we'll be sending you something that will make you grow. So there are 3 points of views that I wrote here that is very important. You have to have a strategic insight or strategic point of view. I'm trying to use Gen Z slangs. So POV, strategic POV, operational POVs, and promotional POV. Because also when you want to scale, you have to think of how you want to promote it. And that's why I said that 3 things matter. I said process, people, and product. This product is very important. But I also want to speak just a little bit about processes before I go to. So Doinsola spoke a lot about process, but I wrote some things called wisdom for scale. So one of the things that I have here as to the wisdom for scale is that you cannot say you want to grow your business and your phone is constantly on DND. You cannot say that. Or you cannot say that you want to grow your business and you want to scale your business and you don't answer unknown numbers. Or your phone is always off. Or you don't want data. So do you understand? Like, you cannot be praying for, so you have to understand that you cannot say, oh, because I want to grow, you are doing all of this, and if an unknown number calls you, you cannot answer because you don't know who the person is. And also some people just don't have tolerance for they just they just have social anxiety to talk to people. Then let another person handle your customer service. Let it not be you. It's okay. That's the price you pay for not being able. That's the consequence for you not being able to talk to people. So just pay it. Just get someone that can talk to people. There was a time like that we were trying to get like a venue for a particular program, and I was calling hotels just get. I called there, I was like, hello, because all I just did that day was very simple. I just went on Google and I just searched hotels around me, something like that, and I just saw some numbers and I was just calling. I was like, and I was like, hello, talk what you want to talk. I say, I say, sir. Actually, sometimes I can be very nice. I say, sir, I actually want to patronize you. You say, hey. Oh, sorry. But then I already felt. Do you understand? So if you know that that's your behavior, if you know you don't have your gentle voice, no, just self-awareness is very key. If you know that that's how you are, there are some of my friends that I only call them when I have plenty energy. Because hello. If you know that that's you just naturally have that high pitch and you cannot help it. Ordinary small thing, you're already yapping. You know, people is calling, how are you? Don't just outsource that part. It's okay. Just outsource that part. customer is asking you, oh, so why is this thing expensive? But yeah, you go to market and go and buy it. Last week, they don't do those things. They honestly, I'm not interested in how much you bought it last week. I'm not. Because I didn't buy it. I'm not coming to you I didn't come to you last week. The most important is I'm here now. How much is your best price? In fact, it's God that will help us in this country. I'm not interested in God helping us or not. Are you helping me? It's not. If I want to talk to God, I'll go and meet God. At this point, it's you I'm talking to. Why are you referring me to God? Do you understand? So you need to understand, be self-aware. For example, I don't do well with text. So my number is not the number people ask for inquiries. I will not make that mistake. Because I don't want you to have a very bad perception and experience of me. Do you understand? So there are people in this team that their average screen time in a day is over 10 hours. My own, if it is 5 hours, I know I have a problem. Like my maximum screen hour time is 4 hours, 3 hours in a day. So I'm fine. The moment I have 6 hours, I'm already panicking that I'm already losing guard. My discipline is being affected. So I already know that way you can't put my number on as emergency. It's not possible. So there are already people in the team that people reach out to. So sometimes when someone is talking to me, I'm like, just go and talk to them. So it's not because I don't want to talk to you. It's because I'm only as good as this physical conversation. If you take it online, you will learn patience and long suffering. And those characters will be developed. And I don't want that to be the testimony of a customer. Right? The testimony of a customer. So you need to understand. You need to be very self-aware. So are you a patient person? Right? Some people are not patient, and it's not their fault. They've tried. But inside them will just come out that you understand? So if people ask you, there are some people that don't like to be asked plenty of questions. I know I have some people like that. If you ask them more than 2 questions, they are already irritated. So you cannot be doing customer service because customers will ask plenty of questions. Something that you just said now. Just said, it's just as simple as this phone is black. If you order for this phone, it's black. Then the next thing customer do you have black? They will not say yes, it's available at the store. You know, say, so when you send it, will I get black? You just say, but I said. You only need to say. I'm so sorry. I'm just sorry. So you understand? So if you have patience issues, if you have issues with being patient, you cannot do that. So that's why I wrote them as wisdoms for scaling. You also need to understand that when it's time for you to scale and grow, understand that sometimes you just don't have the capacity. So, and sometimes they're so big on, I want my brand name. Some people will come at some point and want to buy your products off brand so that they can brand it. Just allow them. You also test your product on another person's credibility. Do you understand? So let's say, for example, I'm selling this phone, but I don't have the money. And someone comes and says, I want to buy 20,000 of this phone from you, but I'm going to name it Crocodile. Honestly, just test run it. See what Crocodile will look like in the hand of 20,000 people before you slap your name on it. Someone didn't take the risk. Do you understand? So it allows you to test it. It allows you to see all of those. So it's very important. So you cannot be doing me, myself, and I, and you want to grow or you want to scale. Some people will see where you are in your business and say, oh, they want to offer a partnership, right? But then, know where you are going and what you are trying to do. It also allows you to test it. There was a time I had a framework. It was very good with 50 people. Then I had a government engagement. And they tested it on 50,000 people. And now, the thing I wasn't thinking about when I was doing it for 50 people, when it was 50,000 students that tried using that assessment, I felt stressed. Now I knew why nobody, because when it was just 50 people, I'm like, this thing is simple. Why is everybody not using it? Then it's a template. Quick way. All the money I thought I made, I spent it hiring consultants. They were not asking me, how exactly did you get it? You now sound very foolish. What made so much sense to you at 50 now sounds very foolish to you at 50. And I'm like, so didn't you think that you were supposed to look at these indicators? You are asking for data and you did not even put age range, because you just assume that everybody that will feel this thing now is going to be young. Now, now somebody with 2 children has already feel it now. And you know the problem is that, honestly, I designed that thing with true intention. So I work in education like professionally, and I designed that thing, but they now took it to the north, and there's some married people who are teenagers. I'm like, goodness, I didn't consider this. I didn't consider that a teenager could be married, because I didn't see plenty people when I was testing it. I was testing the people that were seeing their children. So I didn't test that a teenager could be married and still be coming to school. So I didn't consider it. So when I was designing it, so after I understood that if someone is willing to test my stuff on a grand scale as test run, and my face will not be there, and it was an international agency, I said, everybody, we're just running a task getter, but we fixed it. So sometimes just allow it to be done, right? So these are just like the common wisdoms. And as much as an idea is great, distribution is more important. It's the most important part of a business, actually, especially if you want to scale. How do you distribute it? So like Doinsola was saying, we have clients in Nigeria and outside. How do you distribute it? How do people get to hear about what you are doing? Distribution is way more important than the product itself. Distribution is way more important than the product itself. And what are the important things that you need to understand with distribution? How does it get to the last person, directly or indirectly? How does it get to the last person? How does it get to the last person? I always ask myself, how does it? There's a product that we are building. Honestly, the idea is great, but the reason we have not launched it is that I don't want it to be a Lagos product. Do you understand? So how does it get somebody in Kebbi? That's what I'm stressing myself about. I wake up every morning, I'm like, God, how does this thing get into Abuja? I'm like, how? Distribution, how? What will that look like? Very, very important. The question is not what are you doing. The question is how do you want to do it? Like, everybody know ideas are great. Honestly, ideas are cheap. It's distribution that is the hardest part. It's distribution. That's why Coca-Cola will continue to be successful whatever products they bring. They've already solved distribution. When they come and drop the Coke, they just intro. If they want to send, if the new product is Blue Fanta, they just know that as they are delivering Coke for you, they are giving you a sample of Blue Fanta, or they mix it for you. They've already solved distribution for whatever it is that they want to solve. So that was what I was saying. Like, we at the beginning of this, we had to solve the problem of ecosystem, distribution. Who is my market? Who are the audience? Third circle, mentoring people, small communities of people until we had a vibrant community. Then we now did a conference. So that way people could come from Enugu, Ife, Abeokuta for a conference in Lagos, for a day conference. And you're like, were you being paid? No. It's distribution. It's understanding that we had spent a lot of time. Now, Festival of Change is moving from a national event to a global event. It's distribution. I've been telling people about it since last year. Whenever I go to an international conference, for the Festival of Change that we had last year, people joined from different parts of the world too. It was because they were already part of our mentorship community, our training school. So it was very easy. Do you understand? And all of the products and every single thing that we are building is on that ecosystem. So many times when they have any problem, they ask us first. So I wasn't looking for customers. I already had customers. That's why we have not run any ads. Up until last month, we didn't create Instagram account for even the organization that was solving media problems for other people. Because we already had needs in our community, we were just meeting those needs. And honestly, the demands overwhelmed us. It's because we had a community. Distribution, I understood that what I was doing is very simple. People say, education, is it profitable? Just build last mile. How will this advice, how will this product, how will it get to the last person that will pay for it? Wherever it is that they are in the world. Distribution. I can't stress this enough. Part of distribution is also understanding how you collect your money. When you are doing international, you want to go global, but global people cannot pay you. So payment is a problem. So the cloud thinking about what if. So how do they pay you? How do you receive money? Where should you be registered? I mean, just like I was in a conversation this time, I was like, oh, we need to register an entity like outside of Nigeria, blah, 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 because I've done one of that for one of my businesses. And the gist I've been hearing now is that everybody is moving to Mauritius to register. Like, Mauritius has very good tax laws. I'm like, okay, thank you. right? So you might just see me in Mauritius tomorrow. I've registered. Do you understand? So understanding the place that you can be for where you are going, right, is very, very important. So that's distribution. Where should your office be? Where should your factory be? Do you understand? If you are trying to attract some people, you can't tell me your business is you are selling shirts for young professionals. I say this with all sense of humility, and your largest inventory is in Ifo. It's not possible. It's not possible. Or is in Agbara, where there are most of the people living in that region are workers, like are factory workers. There are more industries in that place. They are not wearing packing shirts that is 50k. They are wearing overalls. So you probably want to, move most of, even if you go, you can be in Agbara, move your inventory. There was a time like that I had a business that was running in Unilag. So it was a slide business. All these original Nike slides and everything, we were selling it because we had students, Unilag students wanted to look like very fly. So they wanted to wear the original stuff and everything like that. But most of and we were all honestly ordering from abroad because we couldn't get original slides even in the so-called Nike shops. It was China. So we literally had someone in Europe that would send to us. But our inventory was in Yaba because the people we were selling to were in Unilag, the tech bros on dreads that were going to iFitness, all of those kind of. So our inventory was in Yaba. So all I just needed to do, we had a guy that was doing delivery. So when someone orders, go to the store. So the woman is very simple. Very interesting. The woman has a shop. We just said, ma, we have like 20 boxes. Can we be paying you every month to keep? It will not pass 20. So we just want to keep 20 boxes in your shop. How much she asks us? Maybe like 5k or 10k to just keep, because she has the shop already. It's not like she's using the space for anything. So to the woman, it's just free money. But worse, it saves us security, inventory is there, lesser money on delivery. So we could even do free delivery to students on campus because the school too is in Yaba. And we already had delivery day, so it was Monday and I think on Wednesday, so it was very easy. So on those days that we have the main deliveries, everybody just go. So it's cheap. Like 500 naira takes the person that will go and carry the tofro, and there's a meeting point. If you want to collect your shoe, it's from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock because our students will be done from campus and their work. So the guy will just sit down there with the nylon. What's your name? What's your size? Bang, 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 bang. He has served everybody. So distribution is very important. Where should you move your inventory to? Right? If you are doing online product and online services, do you want to host your product on a platform that people can make orders? It's not until they pay that they will not be getting email from you. They'll pay 2 days ago. You'll not be sending the product. Do you want to put your services on a platform where even if someone in Australia comes across it, they can order for it immediately while you're still sleeping? Do you understand? So you want to think about things like distribution is very important. Where are you moving your inventory? Who are the suppliers that you have made agreements with? Like Donisola was saying, if you want 20,000 pieces of something now, how do you get it? And I've done all these things before. I used to help people who had collections, manage collections, clothing collections and fashion brands and everything like that. Sometimes they'll just say, they just got a contract. All this big, they want to do drug-free day in 3 days, and they have already gotten volunteers, but they need 1,000 t-shirts in 3 days. I'm like, didn't you people know that World Drugs Day was already this day before? Why are you stressing me? Or they say, they want to do Blood Donors Day and they need 300. I'm like, hey. And they will not want to go to the big guys because the big guys will send them invoice. They don't want people that will send them invoice. They want people like us that will just start it. So it's just understanding. So because I know that it's 1,000 pieces here. I'm not going to give one person 1,000 pieces when I'm not foolish. I already have 5 guys. I'll give them 200. So I'll just tell them that, okay, you're going to get this 1,000 pieces in 3 days. Like, you get one. So my guy that I know that is the least reliable is one that will deliver last. But there are some that sharp. In 1 day, they're already done. In a few hours, there are some of people that if I call by morning, by evening, they're already done. So those are the ones that you first send. You understand your distribution system. How do you get work to yourself and how do you get work out there to the last person? Logistics and delivery, very easy. I had downfall drivers because at some point, bike was expensive. So what I did, I painstakingly went to every major bus stop in Lagos at that time. At that time, we didn't have big logistics company like Uber, Bolt that were doing. It was more like you either go yourself or you send the bike man, and it was very expensive. So what I did at that time also, delivery people didn't come to your doorstep; they came to bus stops. So for example, now if you are here, they say that your delivery point is this bus stop. I'll be waiting. You see, I'm wearing blue shirts. I'm waiting for you at the bus stop. That was what it was. So what I did was very simple. I just took the numbers of Danfo drivers, introduced myself because I knew the routes that they were passing. So I knew that from Oshodi, from Yaba, from Ojuelegba, they are central locations. So I had people that I trusted. So once they are going, and they always have all these that sell paraga at every junction. They know everybody. So I'll just say, sir, this 500. Let me to drop it at, I said, you will pay, So I'll spend 1,000 to get it to that because the woman that is holding, that is selling paraga to want to hold money for keeping the security for the stuff. But I spent 1,000. The person comes, the woman, hello, they have already delivered your package. Come and collect it. I'm closing. The woman will collect it. So they will deliver it. And I've collected 2,500 from as delivery fee. And the person got it for 1,000 naira. I've made 1,000. Everybody is happy. 1,500 rather. Everybody is happy. I am happy. The driver is happy. The guy that is selling paraga got extra 500 without selling gin. We are all happy. Distribution is very important. Without necessarily increasing costs. That's scaling. How do you make profit? But everything still boils down to mind your business. If you're not thinking about your business enough, you will not see the loopholes. You will not see how efficient it can be. That's the problem. If only people can spend time thinking about their business rather than just sit down, just keep quiet and just think. We have to figure about the most important thing that people are trying to try the website. It's not working, but you have already told 20,000 people that they are not like you are fighting that somebody not share the thing on your status or their status or the only because your money is in the hands of people you don't know. So are you thinking about them? Are you thinking about them? Your money is in the hands of people that don't know you. They don't even know what you look like. That will not even share your flyer on their status because they don't even know you. Do you understand? So, which brings me to this, right? Your market presence focus. You're supposed to think about it. For early stage businesses, you have to focus on being present. Like, let people know you. Like that, especially if you're an early stage business, if you're just starting, your presence in the market matters. So, how are you getting things? Like, what is so special about you? Not, I just started, everybody should be supporting me. My friends are not buying for me. What kind of friends are they? If your friends want to buy from you now, you will stress them. Ordering is stressful. Payment is stressful. Delivery is stressful. Everything is stressful. Even you are stressful. Do you understand? So you want to spend more time to think about the business. It will really help you a lot. Honestly, if people spend more time thinking about their business processes, they'll be more efficient. Right? So also, another reason we take these festivals seriously, I say it, why we want to increase to 1.5 also is that when we do all of these conferences and all of these convenings that we have large audiences, it's our way of selling our product and every single thing that we have as a group to 1,500 people, real time, bam. And having closing one-on-ones. So it's also, I would rather do that and offer value than paying an influencer. If I'm just starting. Do you understand? Because an influencer might not go the extra mile of closing the deals for me. But I have 23 team members that will be in the team, that will be in the midst of people. Do you understand? Saying, oh, this is what we do. Let's have your number, let's have your database. So we have the emails of all of those people. When we have a new product launch, we are sharing. But yes, an influencer made a video for me. 2,000 people, 3,000 people watched it. But I don't have the emails of those. So when I want to sell another product, it's not all of them that follow my new account. They say, follow this page, they will follow back. Do you understand? So you have to understand. But for some businesses, it's very important. Like for example, if Uber wants to do something now, they're probably not going to organize a conference. They're just going to use influencers. It's easier for their kind of product. So you have to understand your product and how you want to do the expansion and how you want to reach your customers and what matters to you. Because once people download the app, Uber gets the email, so they don't necessarily need to run another. They will just pop up 50% off. Yeah. So, but you need to understand what your business. Every man should mind his own. Every man should mind his own. Every woman should mind his own. Thank you very much. So if there's anything that you will learn from this session today, is that mind your business and you will see growth and you will scale. So that's like everything. I just want to tell us that you'll be receiving other things as emails. There's so much that the man can take in a day. We started at 12 o'clock. This is already 3 or something like that. So we have done our best. But the most important thing is that you're able to take out something from these sessions and implement it. Do you understand? Then we'll see again in 3 months and ask how far. So people that come to our workshops, they raise money. So we have different titles for different months. So in November we did something around pitching and fundraising. Everybody that came to that workshop in one way or the other has either joined the fundraising team afterwards or raised millions or are in the way of raising money. We had execution in the first quarter because we felt like as people are starting the year, the execution game should go up. And if there's anything that you have seen about us, we are ruthless executors. We had the execution, people started executing even from that day. Do you understand? People started executing even from that day. People started executing to the extent that they have already gotten multiple funding. Do you understand? Because it is things that are working for us that we are sharing. Even myself, after that workshop that day, I applied what I said and I got funding. Do you understand? So applying, it works. So now we have done this one now on scaling and growing. There's a project that we are doing that I want to scale. So in the next 3 months too, we are also coming back to share report card. Do you understand? So that's the thing. The next what's the next workshop's title? I'm trying to remember. I can check it. So the next workshop title. So we have just 4 workshops in a year. It's not stressful. All the titles are already there. I can't remember where it's there, but let me just check it now. Yeah, I'm checking. That's what I'm checking. So the next workshop is most likely in July, and it's basically follow the money. Basically, where's the money? How do you get money? Because now I'm saying that focus on growth. By the time you come in July, where's the money? You understand? Because you need to pay people. You need to ensure that cash flow is there, right? So you see execution, knowing how to execute properly, understanding what you need to grow, raising your money, you understand, and planning ahead. So the workshop that you're going to come for most likely in December or November is how to set like annual goals, how to write impact report, how to measure if you have grown. So we already have all of that. So we know how to prepare adequately for it. So I'm just showing you how we also think in systems. So I'm not thinking of what would I talk about I already know it. So there are already resource lists that we're already accumulating towards that. Do you understand? If I feel like there's a speaker that I want to bring on board that can easily drive it, I can invite them from now because I know the date. The date is even there. It's there. Everything is there. October 4th, July 5th. If there's any adjustments, if the date will not work, we already know. So that's how to make it less stressful and do multiple things. But I just hope that, for those of us that have not joined the third community, you join, and that we see you in other conversations. But beyond all of this, beyond all of the shattering tables, saying the truth, showing what our joy is who you become and not what we have taught. All of these things you can find it online is what you take out of today and what you implement. So, and that's going to be the last exercise. Just you yourself, just write it on your book. When I go home today, this is what I will do. When I speak to, if you have team members, right, when I speak to my staff, this is what I will do. If you don't have team member, that person that you want to recruit now, or that you want to talk to reduce some of your processes, on Monday, I am talking to this student that just finished writing JAMB, that I know that has sense for social media, because I need social media to promote or to distribute my business, and I don't know how to operate TikTok. So I'm going to talk to this girl in a gap as she's waiting for admission because she's now done with exams. Have those things written down. Do you understand? Have those things written down. Then work on it. Oh, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm going to do differently. This is where I'm going to start from. Oh, there's this friend of mine that if she talks about my business, but she just needs to be recognized. So how can I recognize her? How can I, whatever it is that you need. What are the standard operating procedures? Oh, I'm the only one that has the knowledge of this thing. Can I start creating templates? Because of when I hire someone, they know how best to do it. So I'm not just the only person. So let's just take some moments to to write that out, and we'll just have a fireside chat afterwards, because all of these things that we have said, there's a pain that comes with entrepreneurship, and we just want to talk about it a bit. So it's not all gloomy, right? So it's not all gloomy. There's scars. We'll talk about some of the pains that comes with all of these growth. But I hope we have all learned something today. So that's just all for today's session, and we'll have the fireside. Just more like a light networking fireside. Me just answering questions concerning business and everything like that. So that's just the only part. So thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much.